The following program contains adult language and juvenile conversations. Listener discretion is advised.
I'd like to take a moment to congratulate our dear friends on the Throwdown Thursday podcast for 100 episodes. We know as well as anybody how much of an accomplishment it is. Great job. I'm excited to hear it, and I would doubly like to congratulate Ashes and Agent Nicole for not killing Patrick 99 times. Because those poor girls have now officially 100 problems, and Patrick is all of them. So, no, all jokes aside, because you won't hear any on that show, I would like to thank the Throwdown Thursday podcast for their support of us, and I love those folks like family, and I'm super proud of them for making this milestone. But now for a crappy podcast. Welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Welcome all you little zombies. You're listening to Trick or Treat Radio, starring the Deadites.
Welcome to episode 303 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is a phantasmagorical spin kick straight through the heart of pop culture, navigated by the Deadites. The Deadites are the world's greatest electroshock band. We destroy monsters, we drink booze, we win championship belts, and what else we got? What else do we do, guys? There's got to be something else, right? One or two things.
Like 215 episodes ago, we drove a woman into a masturbatory fit and then wouldn't stop. Wouldn't stop fucking talking about
that
it.
was early.
I remember that. I am lusting after Aries' shirt right now. It's crazy. I can't stop looking at him.
What is it?
It's Jane.
Oh, from
Jane come from Firefly.
the Firefly.
Oh.
Some grenades would be nice right now.
Also from a little movie called DC Cab. And My Bodyguard.
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 Oh, you don't even know. Body guy.
I don't know.
Bodyguard.
I feel like if Aries was a
Bodyguard,
Japanese,
bodyguard.
50-year-old Japanese wrestler
With tattoos.
he'd be body guy.
Yeah.
For sure. There is a wrestler in All Japan Pro Wrestling, and we just finished the Champions Carnival, which was for me anyway, an arduous task of watching even that much wrestling of people I don't know.
Well, you went the full way though.
Yeah. But and there's a wrestler named Bodyguard, and he's totally fucking jacked, but he's short, and he just seems fucking furious all the time.
What
All the time.
did Goro call him? He called him the cranky tattooed Japanese man.
Yeah. Goro didn't know who anyone was, so we get things like, what match are you on, Goro? I'm watching cranky tattooed Japanese man fight white cowboy.
Let me find a picture of Bodyguard.
Yeah, he's fucking ridiculous. But is it Bodyguard or Zeus who has the fucking worst song of all time?
I don't remember.
They owe us money because it sounds like Japanese Onyx. And for those of you who are just
was that you and Aries?
Yeah, Aries and I were Onyx in the 90s. Give me the mic, you fucking bald-headed bastard. See, there's a little bit for you.
That's
That's the one on the left?
no, one on the left with the blonde hair is Bodyguard, and that's Zeus.
It was kind of like the Asian version of the singer from Biohazard a little bit.
Fuck! What a weird pull.
I guess if we're talking about Onyx and Biohazard, they both came from the same.
Oh, see, that's a little,
But yeah, I actually think you guys would probably like All Japan more than I liked All Japan. Because it's very much got, in my opinion, a WWF element to the style. It's not a lot of that pesky wrestling stuff. They just get to the fucking middle of the ring and start throwing bones, and then after like one or two bones, somebody fucking throws somebody.
Yeah.
And if there are 10, and I know I'm going to get made fun of or criticized for making a stereotype, but from watching Japanese wrestling as long as I can, I've kind of got the athletic body type. If there are 10 over 6 feet barrel-chested Japanese men in Japan, they all wrestle for All Japan.
Yeah.
And one guy, I can't pronounce his first name, but his last name I believe is Hino.
Yuji Hino.
Yeah, and he has a shirt that says "fuck bomb," which is apparently his finisher move, and it's a fucking green gorilla giving a Liga bomb, and it says "f fuck bomb." So it's the greatest shirt of all time.
It's no sex driver.
Yeah.
I gotta see if I can find a picture of the T-shirt.
Yeah,
It's
he
fucking
knows.
awesome.
Yeah, and like 90% of the all Japan Champions Carnival field was written by drawn by Rob Liefeld. Like they all have like giant torsos and like weird pecs that don't seem like oh wow, if I was on Skype I'd be able to hear right now. They have weird pecs that don't like look like humans should have those pecs. So every wrestler made me think that Aries will probably like this guy because he wrestled just like Aries and was cranky. Actually, listen, like, are you all Japan, Aries? Aries Japan.
Yeah, he's just.
Hey, do you guys want to see the fuck bomb?
Ooh.
All right, we're watching right now. Do you want to call us, Mars?
Looks like he's going for like a.
Oh, he flicks off the crowd. He picks him up. Oh, fuck bomb right into the mat.
Oh, he got fuck bombed.
And he picks him up in a weird way. Like it's not like he fucking lifts him entirely. Like one wrong move and the guy's gonna fall on his face behind him. So
Jesus, yeah.
I
it's
don't
not.
want that.
It's very inconsiderate.
I mean, he's got him up about as high and as far back
Yeah,
as
as
he
you
could
can
possibly
go,
get.
Yeah. I'm not taking that move.
And he take,
I think we're officially at the point where we're gonna need another piece of paper to write down all the moves you want to take. You know what's funny is that I have a second sheet that just says moves he'll take if it's raining 0.
I had a premonition that day.
Man, you were born to be a top tier WWF wrestler.
What are the hours?
You probably wouldn't like him.
Yeah, no.
You have to work a lot more probably doing that.
It's
You have to work out actually.
yeah, no time to mow the lawn or anything.
Oh, really?
You remember that?
Walk Ollie.
Remember that one time you worked out, Raven Shadow?
Yeah.
You know what? I remember the one time you worked out. It was me. It was over at the manor. It was myself. It was Smoke and Ty, and it was you.
I was there too. I remember this.
You were there.
I didn't work out, but I was downstairs. I think.
Okay,
And
well,
came
I was in the
upstairs
room.
I
and
feel like
saw you guys.
I'm not spoiling the end of the story if I say that this turned out poorly.
No, well, it didn't. Let's just say it turned out as expected as as we thought it would be. Me and Smoke and Ty, we're lifting, and modest amount of weight, just to warm up and stuff. Raven Shadow, on the other hand, is like Pee Wee Herman at the beginning of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, where he's got these little 2-pound weights and he's doing everything he can to lift them up. There were like 20-pound weights, literally 20-pound weights on both sides, and that was it, just 40 pounds plus the weight of the bar. And he is doing everything in his might to try and lift this son of a bitch up.
I don't remember that at all.
I remember it quite vividly because
Well,
I was too
here's
busy
the thing.
laughing.
That's an unreasonable amount of weight for him to start with. That's probably
Thank you, Dynamo.
That's probably over 20% of his body weight. Is that 40 pounds?
I don't know. I don't even remember that.
Well,
what's the exchange rate on that?
What do you weigh?
I have no
Euros.
idea.
What do you weigh? $1.35? A buck?
I haven't weighed myself in a
do
while.
not tell.
I'm gonna guess 145.
Yeah, don't
We got
tell
to
me
bring in
one-
a scale.
He's
We
got some height.
Yeah, don't
yeah,
tell me 160.
that's what you got going for you. But we got to bring in a scale or something.
He's
We
a
got to
fucking-
weigh
Alright,
this
so
guy.
think
He's
about
a
it.
string bean.
So think about it. If he weighs 145, we'll say, right?
Yeah.
We'll say just for math's sake, 140,
Yeah.
right? Do that math, mathematician.
20%.
What?
Yeah. That's a little bit over 20% of his body weight. You're not supposed to start with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
asshole.
But,
You should've fucking just
shut
spotted
up
me.
over there. Drink your water and shut up. He is.
And
no,
that's two
he's
wang wangs he tried to
struggling.
lift.
And of course,
How much did you lift?
what?
About 500 pounds.
Yeah.
No.
Because you need 2 fucking barrels of rocks to get 20%.
Well, first of all, I weighed a whole hell of a lot less back then.
It's
okay?
true. I actually saw some pictures of someone posted of you from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You were looking slim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trim.
Buff, cut, ripped, chiseled, and jacked.
Yes. I don't know about all those. Just slim.
Not Raven Shadow slim though.
Yeah, well, I don't get to do nothing. I don't get to do yoga. I just
You know-
fucking wake up in the morning.
Raven Shadow looks like. I mean, to be
I
again,
lifted maybe what 100, 110, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Right.
I mean, if memory
exercise-
serves.
what
If memory serves.
What exercise was it?
Clean and jerk.
It was like reps of 20.
Right, but what exercise? You bench press? What were you what were you
Bench press. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things to make fun of our dear Michael Raven Shadow for, but I think not being able to lift weights is. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not.
No, it's funny just to watch him in action trying to lift these things up. It's hysterical.
I think I was too busy smoking. I think I was like,
he was smoking while
If he,
Yeah.
I don't remember him having a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. While
I
he was
do.
doing it.
I do. I remember coming up and seeing him smoking in between sets.
you guys doing a really good job. It's starting to pay off.
Can you spot me? Spot me. So we take the cigarette out of his mouth.
Not that
Spot
one.
him with the cigarette. Yeah.
And
You
Smoking
hold it-
Ty was jacked. He was taking some Steve Rogers
Yeah.
Super Soldier serum at that time.
yeah.
You look
For
like you look like Steve Blackman.
Yeah.
For our listeners who don't know, Michael Raven Shadow is very small. He's tired too because he constantly has to keep fucking moving because if he stands still very long, Sally Struthers shows up and gives him a sandwich. So he's
Wow.
very,
Was it?
Yeah.
I was
Wow.
like,
He's got the body of a rubber band, really.
Jesus, come on.
yeah,
All
I'm
right,
gonna
all
snap
right.
back. I'm very tall. I'm 6'3". If I was like 5'3", I'd be fucking jacked.
Yeah, just step out from the side of the mic so everyone can see you.
But when you were quiet,
He's got the kind of body that if
Oh
you
my God.
he's got the kind of body that if back in the 1920s if he wore one of those swimsuits that was one of those striped swimsuits
wow,
that
this
covered the
reference
whole
is
body,
tough.
that's what he would look like. He it looks like he would fit in that era.
Monster
Wait,
Zero
wait. I'm
literally
gonna
goes,
show
yeah.
you. I'm gonna show you Monster Zero's fucking body.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, literally draw.
Oh, you're gonna draw?
You don't
Okay,
need
Bob
to-
Ross.
You
Let's
don't
see
need
what
to
you
draw.
got.
Just hold up the plate.
Let's see what you got. Fuck you, man.
Just hold up the plate.
You and I side by side be like the fucking number 10.
Go number 100.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
It's your belly.
That's my pants, I think.
He's gonna be a soccer
Picture
player.
belly.
That's my pants.
Yeah.
Front end or rear end, it doesn't matter. That's my pants. Thank you. I'll be here all night.
Unfortunately.
Body by Milk Dud.
Here, Ravenchild, you're a better artist than me.
Yeah. The only weight playing Monster Zero could go on if they fucking cut part of it off and he kept it in a basket and they went and lived in a flop house.
Look, I got a gut. That's just about it with me. I'm
You
not
got
fat.
huge tits.
Yeah, but the gut is the worst thing because
Yeah.
that's gonna give you a fucking heart attack.
All right.
Well,
And
who wants to live anywhere?
And your hips are getting a little.
Not
wide.
him.
No, I mean, I'm trying to die very
Who
hard.
wants to live forever?
But I am losing weight. But, your hips are getting a little wide.
Well, there is a good chance.
Me and Mars are both losing weight. MZ,
Yeah.
No, I know.
Where are you
well,
at?
I know. Mars weighs less than me. I used to give him a lot of shit because he weighed more than me, and
But I never did. You used to say it, and then we weighed ourselves. I weighed like 20
I
pounds
don't
less
remember
than
us
you.
weighing ourselves. We should weigh ourselves.
No,
especially
remember
this
when
guy.
we all weighed ourselves, Wolfie? It was like on
Yeah.
episode. Yeah.
Did we
like,
really? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
I weighed
Honestly,
less
I don't
than
remember.
everyone except Tiny.
I just bought a new scale. I can probably bring my old one in.
Honestly, I really don't remember. But I'm probably neck and neck with Aries over here.
No.
Aries isn't
In
quite
weight,
the Aries
in
it
weight.
used
Not,
to be.
it doesn't matter if it's fat or muscle. You know.
Yeah, I'm the heaviest one in this room.
Are you? How much?
You
do
sure
weigh?
about that, Aries?
I'd be willing to
How
place
much?
a wager on
How much
that.
do you weigh?
I don't know, but I'd be willing to place a wager on
I mean, you're a good sized guy. I mean, what are you? 6 feet? You're 6 feet tall?
Yes, I'm 6 foot.
6 foot. Okay. I'm 5'11" and a half.
That's short by Deadites terms, so
I'm 5'10". I guess I'm the shortest.
you are.
No, what are you, Mars? You're 5'10"?
No,
I don't fucking- 5'8".
Are you
Yeah, 5'8"
Are you
so.
5'10"?
Yeah.
Wow, you're
I don't
short.
know. I don't know if
talking
you're
about
5'11" and a half.
Short by Deadite stand. What other Deadite is over 6 feet?
Yeah,
Tiny.
No, we used to be tall. It's true. We're getting average size now.
We're getting average size.
Average. You're getting short.
Because Vigilante
Ethan
and Ethan
Magufovitz
Magufovitz was fucking tall. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
he was
true.
like 6'2".
he still is. He's just not in a band anymore.
Here, let me.
All right, what did you do?
What's a shot?
What the hell did you do?
I don't know. I drew a picture.
Let me see. Let me see.
I gotta
Whoa!
cover up. Hold on, I gotta cover up my bad art first. Whoa. Napkins going all over the place, right, Shadow?
I know. I was making a mess.
There's a napkin
Gotta
for you.
Clean up this mess. Jesus.
There you go. This is Raven Shadow's
Let's see.
rendition of MZ.
What the fuck is
It's actually not bad.
And the
you have
sweatpants.
huge feet.
Yeah, really? What the hell's that?
And there's
all
the
about?
sweatpants under the shorts, by the way. For those,
And he actually drew you like you say you are, not like you really are.
It kind of looks like the gorilla from One Crazy Summer.
It does.
I love that
Hey.
gorilla.
What the hell's the matter with you? What the hell's the matter with you? Do I make fun of you?
you still hurt my feelings.
You sat here and made fun of him for 10 minutes.
Your ass is way bigger than that too.
Yeah, I got no ass.
Well,
And you made my arms too big. My arms aren't that big.
I was trying to help you
My
out.
belly is that big though.
What's
And
a
what are
shopping?
these wimpy shoes? I mean, what?
Wimpy shoes.
I'm wearing wimpy shoes.
He drew it in one fucking minute.
Yeah, I mean, I had one take with a Sharpie. I mean, what the fuck?
Fucking googly eye for the fat guy. Yeah, trying making fun of everybody else's.
Yeah, I did have the cross hatching.
Leanna says, you don't need to draw it. I posted on Twitter in all his boob glory.
True.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Yes,
If I was
Mike.
booking a wrestling thing, you would have went from like a normal hardcore guy to like a guy who like wears like a turban and keeps his tights up around his boobs and hides foreign objects.
Just call me Quarterhead.
That's true.
Lana says, Aries with that size complex, and says, actually, that's pretty good, Raven Shadow.
Thank you. It was a quick sketch. Thank you.
I actually call you Nickelhead. It's funny that you say that.
Never made it as a wise man.
I've often posed to Tiny White when we're looking at you from afar. If you had the option of having $1 million or Monster Zero's head full of nickels, what would you take? He always says the head full of nickels. It's probably at least $1 more than $1 million.
Well, you never know when anybody needs spare change.
Why nickels? Why not quarters? That'd be better.
Or dimes. That'd be even more.
It'd be more currency, but probably less money because they're bigger.
One thing I want to mention, because I meant to mention it last week, and I don't want to forget again this week, but we will be doing, and this also is an invite to anyone on this show, we will be doing, as is tradition, another live Star Wars special to talk about Solo, a Star Wars story. And we're going to be doing that on Saturday night, May 26th. Time TBD. But I think it'll probably be, 8 or 9 p.m. It's kind of typical what we've done in the past. So if any of you guys get a chance to see it on opening day or the previous or the night before and want to come talk about it, feel free. I know Raven Shadow probably won't see you for 2 months.
Let's just slow it down. There's a lot of things involved. Get to the theater. It's hard.
A lot of irons in the fire.
Yeah.
I'm guessing through everything you didn't see Avengers.
No, I dragged him kicking and screaming, but I dragged him there.
Oh, he saw Avengers!
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah, at the very nice.
Raven Shadow's disappearing.
Yep, saw it at a very late show. It was 12:15 in the afternoon.
Late for you.
Yeah, I almost called Aries. I'm like, you want to do the 9:45?
AM?
Yeah, it was
No.
crazy. They no, it's too early. I was still in
Yeah,
the jammy
that's-
jams, but they'll play lots of. It was like showings like in 15-minute increments. It was a lot. So yeah, so Aries and I went on a mandate. It's
Ow. What?
I almost pulled my headphones off.
Oh. You kind of looked like I pinched you or something.
Yeah, I did.
No, yeah, it was weird. I got my elbow caught in my little thing over here. But no, yeah, we saw Infinity War.
What'd you think?
It sucked.
Oh, okay.
No, it was really good. I liked it a lot.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it's probably my top 5 Marvel flicks just because of what
It's
they were
your
able
top
to
5,
do.
like 1 through 5?
1 through 5, yeah. I mean, those dudes, they crammed a lot in that fucking movie.
Yeah, they cram jammed.
They cram jammed it. And I think, it was anyone's film.
Right. There was no, star per se.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a nice surprise of somebody we haven't seen in a long time, which I like that a lot.
I don't want to wash that cup, so it'll get faded.
But you have.
I've probably worn this shirt twice, Aries.
Okay.
I've had it for like 3 years.
But you're buying 2 cups, one to keep, one to drink out of.
right.
Okay, you don't need 10 cups to drink out of.
But if I have people over, I want to give them nice, cool novelty cups as well.
Makes
I'm out.
sense.
See, you just gotta follow.
Although we did go to Uno's afterwards.
I hate
And,
Uno's now.
I'm not an Uno's fan anymore, but I have enjoyed their burgers the last 2 times I've gone there.
Yeah, they see. I don't know. Didn't I get a burger when we went to go see Blade Runner and not eat it? I remember I didn't really like. No, that's another movie.
I can't keep up with what you eat in restaurants.
Remember that day?
Well, I remember I bitched about it, so I can remember.
You bitch about everything.
That's fair.
Although it was nice, I did have a compliment on my DX shirt. The hostess man.
The senior citizen host
Yeah.
recognized it.
He wasn't senior. I think he was
Yeah.
younger than me.
No.
And then Aries
No,
big timed
that's not it.
the waitress.
Oh my God, she was annoying and she was
Again?
bleeding. The waitress was bleeding.
What?
Yes.
What? Wait, what? What?
So we're standing waiting for our table, talking about DX with the dude, and Aries is standing by like a little raffle that they have. It's kind of like a vent, like a you put what do you call that?
A drawing.
A drawing.
Give your name and your email. They sell it to a company, and then you
Yeah.
can win a pizza.
And this waitress who was working hard, trying to engage in Aries.
Which never.
No. But she kept. And I observed this, and I thought it was funny. But she kept trying to trying to engage and wanted a reaction. And Aries was nothing. Then when she left, you were upset.
Because she's bleeding.
Well, I don't think she wasn't like Kill Bill.
Like
Almost.
Wait, explain. Like
Yeah.
bleeding from the finger,
No, on her
a
forearms.
bloody nose.
No,
What's going
Both
on?
her forearms, like it looked like she had a rash that she scratched the hell out of at some
Ugh.
point.
Uh,
One
And she's
arm.
serving your food.
Oh no, she wasn't serving my
Oh,
food.
I
I would
didn't-
not have sat in her section.
I saw the cut.
One-
One cut on
One forearm had multiple small cuts that were scabbed over,
Gross.
which is a little should have been wearing long sleeve just for that alone.
I didn't see
The
that.
other arm had multiple small little cuts, but they were torn open, and the blood had come out and had smeared.
Fucked.
Like she probably scratched again, tore them open, and smeared the blood on her forearm.
and
God.
where is this again?
Uno's located.
Uno's.
Which
Uno's,
which
okay.
one? Which one? I'm never gonna go there.
The Blackstone
Blackstone.
Valley.
All right.
Okay, I'm never gonna go there.
I didn't see that level of detail.
I tend to notice when the wait staff is bleeding.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to miss. Remember when we were in Friendlies one time? It was a long
Oh wait,
time.
which one?
No, the guy was sweating all over the place.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
We had this one waiter. This was about a long time ago. What, 15 years ago, maybe even longer. And we're in not Wendy's, but Friendlies, and we're waiting for our food, and here comes our waiter, and he is sweating up a storm. Like
Yeah.
you could see sweat like dripping off his nose, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, it's probably hot in the back. Hot in
The
kitchen.
shower didn't take.
Yeah.
No, Seinfeld reference? No one. Okay, moving on.
Remember the time?
And he's like, all right, who ordered the colossal mushroom? And I'm like,
Oh yeah, I remember this.
You
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
that.
Remember the time we went to Friendlies and our hostess didn't have an ample enough breast to supposedly work in the dairy industry, according to you?
No, what's that? Yes, it
Yeah,
was
that was
Friendlies.
you. That's the most fucking
Oh, yeah,
ridiculous
yeah. It
thing
was Friendlies.
anyone's ever said ever.
Yes, well, I'm always looking to improve myself, and
Yeah.
somehow I fail miserably each and every single time.
I went to the movies, 2 guys,
Oh.
and I'm glad I'm here because the show would shut off for me. I saw A Quiet Place.
Oh.
How was that?
It's funny. I'm actually liking it less as I move away from it, but I did like it a lot. I
I definitely want.
It's a good theatrical experience.
Yeah, I think that I think that there were totally different movie, right? Totally different movie, but there were elements of it that reminded me of Pitch Black. And I think one thing Pitch Black did better than any movie ever of its budget was not show the monster too much to show that it didn't always look that good. And sometimes it was almost like Shin Godzilla too. Sometimes they showed the monster in this and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then other times they showed the monster, and it looked like PlayStation 4. It was just like, it's not so good.
Yeah.
And one of the most important scenes in the movie that happens early on, I think the CGI is a little whack. But otherwise, it's an interesting movie. It's one of those things where a lot of people were saying it's really about this girl's journey, and it's not actually a monster movie. Which literally, I had read that and bought my ticket, and if I hadn't, I would have like just finished my delicious Seiwa food and went home.
Yeah.
But don't listen to any people who actually enjoyed this movie and are trying to put like a more pretentious spin on it to
Oh,
justify
I'll put a pretentious spin on
that
it.
they liked
shit.
it.
It's about society.
But no, it's about
It's very dense.
it is super dense.
Yeah.
But at its core,
Right.
you can
It
be
works on two
You
levels
can be
very well.
oblivious to the denseness of
Absolutely,
this
absolutely.
and enjoy a super suspenseful kick-ass monster movie. Where on like a film like Sunchoke and even to a degree the Babadook,
Right.
like without the subtext of those films,
They
they're
don't-
pretty flaccid.
Yeah, I'll agree with Sunchoke especially, but I think Babadook works a little bit better on both levels. But yeah, I would agree.
See,
I still want to check this out.
anytime I've ever gone to a theater to see any type of movie that is, quiet, it's in the title. There's
Spoiler, dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of silence in the movie, and it's supposed to build up tension. It's just having 100 people around me just takes me out of that experience because, without a doubt, there'll just be a quiet thing and someone will be creeping
will
along,
rip-
and also you
rip
just hear,
one. Yeah.
oh God, it's just,
I understand what he's. I get what you
just-
mean.
something like that. I need
get
to
what
sit
you-
and watch
I-
that
I get it.
alone in my house.
I agree with you, Aries, but for me, seeing it in the theater was a cool experience.
Immersive.
Yeah, it's Yeah, I think that's the benefit of doing that. But I completely understand.
I would absolutely love to see this movie in
Yeah.
the theater.
Because I actually shushed some people, and I was getting ready to like fucking stand up and like yell at them.
I
How,
love
how
going.
many people were in the theater when you went?
It was a smaller. It was Theater 11, I think, in Blackstone
So let's look
Valley,
it up. Theater 11.
which is one of the 3 smaller ones, like on the side, and it was full. But like I said, it was probably like one of the 100 people theaters. It wasn't.
I still gotta check it out.
It was. I mean, Well, I would go tomorrow because there is not a snowball's chance in a microwave when Deadpool hits tomorrow.
Oh
that
yeah, it's
that
gone.
movie's gonna
Yeah,
be
it's
left.
gone. I still hadn't seen Ready Player One, and I really wanted to catch that in theaters. And it was playing like once or twice a day at like 3 theaters, like none of them all that close. And I knew if I hadn't seen it before Deadpool, it's completely gone. So
I was psyched
I'm
that
not gonna be able to see
Black
that.
Panther was still playing.
Yeah, that even hit. It's now on DVD.
So
Or
yeah.
I think it's on DVD. Yeah, it just hit DVD this week, and it was on digital last week.
yeah, so I was pretty psyched that's good. Very seldom does a film. I would say the first Star Wars of these new Star Wars movies is the first movie in a while which had that sort of legs. Because I remember Avengers was out for a while, but then when I went to see whatever movie, I think it was Thor, the second Thor maybe, that
Mhm.
came out after Avengers, like that shit was gone from theaters because some other stuff had come out.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys, knowing the type of action movie nerd I am. Oh, I have something for Wolfie too. I wrote up something for him. Has anybody seen any of the Mission Impossible movies?
Yeah.
I've seen like the first
I saw the first one.
2, maybe.
I saw the
Maybe the
first,
second
I think
one.
I saw 2.
The first 2 and the one that had Renner in it.
Are they
Jeremy
worth
Renner.
seeing? Because that trailer's got me. Like that trailer.
Yeah, trailer's pretty good.
Every fucking movie I've seen for about a month now, and that
Okay.
trailer's got
Yeah,
me.
I've seen it like 7
Now-
times.
You haven't seen any of the other ones?
No, I don't think I think I've seen part of maybe part of the first one, but there's some shit in there that's so iconic that like I might have seen.
Because I mean, the trailer does look good, but the trailer doesn't look any better than any of the other ones.
Right.
And the ones that I've seen, I'm just kind of like, oh,
Yes. Spider-Man 3 had a fucking dope-ass trailer.
Well, here's the thing though, like those films did something cool originally. They picked really avant-garde directors, but they were directors who at the time, like I wasn't super like now I would probably be more, but like at that time I was just like I don't want to go see a Brian De Palma movie, And like even like I mean, I had sat through like I was in the minority of people who at the time, I know everybody likes it now, but like I really loved when we saw Face Off in the theater.
Yes.
But like John Woo had done a bunch of fucking garbage on either side of Face Off, so it made it like he wasn't like fucking like, oh, I'm gonna go to the theater because there's a John Woo
Right.
movie. And then J.J. Abrams, I was like, oh great, they gave the guy who made fucking Felicity like now it's a big deal that J.J. Abrams did it, but at the time he made fucking Felicity.
Right.
So like I was just like, I don't understand.
I enjoyed the second one. I like part 2.
Well, you know what? You being such a Fast and Furious fan, you may really enjoy this movie.
Well, let's put a cap on that though. I haven't seen the first 5 Fast and Furious. So.
Evil Corny says Mission Impossible 2 is the weakest of the films.
Really, Corny?
That's what he said.
I think he's wrong. There was a motorcycle fight.
Okay, you just said you only seen 2 of them.
No, I said I saw the first 2 and the one that had Jeremy Renner.
So that's
Ghost Protocol.
Okay.
Well, this one's got Superman in it.
Yeah. His
Yeah, with his mustache.
Henry Cavill, yeah.
Oh, this is the
That
movie
fucking
responsible for the
million,
mustache.
$1 mustache, yeah.
That mustache,
Somebody had like
Jesus.
somebody. I don't remember who it was. It wasn't 12 gauge. I'm trying to think. It was somebody. Oh, it was Jeez, I can't fucking remember who it was. But they had an interesting thing that they brought up. I guess the character that Henry Cavill plays is the character that took over for. Has a similar name. So in the original Mission Impossible show, Peter Graves, when he stopped being the main guy, some villain-like guy is who became the new him in the 70s show.
Okay.
And I guess that, and then at the end of the first one, I guess that character was found dead. So whoever Tom Cruise is took over for him. And there is a prevailing thought, because of some name connection or something like that, I guess, that Henry Cavill's character might be the star of the next Mission Impossible. So I found that interesting. So that sort of shit intrigues me.
You couldn't wait 2 seconds to shove that candy in your mouth before you finish that sentence.
And furthermore,
You had 3 words to say. You had to shove that licorice
Listen,
in your mouth.
I was so good today, and all I wanted to do was eat candy and
I
drink
don't,
booze.
I don't believe it.
I'm telling you.
No, I don't believe it.
I was pretty good on the 5 Horsemen the other day. I had a bunch of soda, and I only drank 3.
Well, how
I
many
don't
did you
consider that
bring?
Good.
Well, I brought like 7, so.
7. Jeez.
7.
But in my defense, that show's usually 22 hours long, and we talk for 2 hours on either side of it, so.
All right, well, I didn't even talk about what we're doing tonight. No. We just went off on a big tangent there. So on tonight's show, we are going to be discussing the film Revenge. It is a feature film debut from director Coralie Farge. So we're going to be discussing that flick. And then, obviously, since it's a film called Revenge, you might imagine that it is about revenge. And therefore, we have asked for your favorite revenge films. That's a pretty broad sort of question. Interpret it how you want. And we got a couple replies so far. If anyone out there listening live would like to still get in their response, feel free to send a voice message or an email to podcast@trickortreatradio.com and let us know yours. And we'll talk about our faves. And that's pretty much it. We'll probably still have 3 to 4 hours out of that, but I'm actually real excited to talk about this flick. I'm dying to know what people think
Let's
of it.
do it now.
Well, Mars, what do you think I'm getting at here?
1, 2, 3, go.
No, we're gonna do a fucking break. Jesus Christ!
Yes.
1, 2, 3, break.
These guys are gonna fucking flip out if they don't smoke.
It's true.
Not Aries. He's got a
No,
nice shirt
he'll-
on.
He still flip out.
Anyway, Aries will just fucking wander away and smoke. He doesn't
So-
need a break.
Let me talk about a few ways you can help support the show. If you heard last week, we have now set up an Amazon store. So you can go to amazon.com/shop/thedeadites. I haven't had a chance to put it up on the website yet, but I will do that as soon as I'm able. So amazon.com/shop/thedeadites. Or if you want to, you can just go ahead and use the link that is on our website. Scroll down on the front page, trickortreatradio.com, look for the Amazon logo, click on it. Everything you purchase in that session gets attributed to us. Doesn't cost any extra, Raven Shadow.
But it helps keep the lights on.
That's right. So you got 2 ways now. You can go directly to our store, and we're going to post up things that we talk about or movies that we discuss, things like that. And last week when we did the double tap, I added everyone's suggestions that called in a double tap. So if it's available on Amazon, I put it up on there. So, for instance, I meant to buy the book that Leanna had recommended, Beauty, because it sounded super interesting, but I have not had a chance. But now it's on the store, so I know where to find it.
Who recommended Black Magic? Because
Beauty,
That was also Leanna.
yeah,
Yep.
Leanna, that book's a masterpiece. It's was in my top 13 this year, and
Yeah.
it's fucking great. Best looking book on the shelves.
What?
Speaking of best looking book on the shelves, and speaking of the Russo brothers a few minutes ago, how
Oh,
did I
Deadly
not
Class,
know
yeah.
they were making a fucking Deadly Class show? Holy fuck!
I think I heard about that, but I just didn't really. I didn't put two and two together because
That
I knew
book
they were working on a show.
is fucking awesome. And if Happy is any indication on how violent and how fateful they are, like, oh my fuck! Like I'm like so excited about that. Like I've been like I'm bubbling over excited about it. Like I'm tickled that there is going to be a Deadly Class show. I think it's I think the book is one book that everyone at this table, even ones who have a hard time reading. Sounds like Once the Hero, would enjoy. It's basically if you take a mixture of, it's one part Harry Potter, one part Reservoir Dogs, one part The Raid. Highest recommendations about a school of wayward children. It's about an assassin school for wayward children.
Yeah, the trailer looks awesome.
Yeah,
I
it's fucking-
watched it
like,
earlier today.
And man, like the Russos work with like three of the best action stuntmen around, so like it's gonna be fucking awesome.
It's a picture of the Droogs with in place of Alex is fucking Colonel Sanders. Should be Yonel Sanders.
So yeah, like I for homework, those trades are fucking. I was looking at them at the joint Raven Shades hangs out. For homework, I would recommend everybody pick up that first trade. What sucks about it is I agree with what Grandizer Funk says. While I enjoyed it conceptually enough and kind of got the cut of Remender's jib, knowing that
Ooh,
with
that sounds
things like-
sexy.
things like he usually starts fast and slows down.
Oh, even sexier.
Yeah, I'm tired.
For instance, Black Science, which was like fucking breakneck book for like 4 issues, really grind to like a halt after the second thing, and he got his story licks in.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I'm going to the library. Get some story left.
This was even written like a TV show, I think. That was kind of my one complaint about it. A lot of it was told in like those kind of obligatory television show flashbacks. But like, yeah, it's great. Anyone in the chat or anyone here, like, I think it's one comic where I could say everybody would like really enjoy it because it has a lot of strange elements to it. I mean, because it's kids, you can't get away that kind of ambling. Like, you know, kids on an adventure sometime. Like, but then also you kind of fucking, until shit happens, like when there's a heist or something's happening or they're doing something fucking repulsive, like you're into it in the same way you would be into like a, you know, a Tarantino or even like a Soderbergh type, you know, like crime thing. And then something happens and they fucking fall to pieces like it's like kids because they're teenagers. They're not adults. And man, Remender is maybe the most underrated guy writing comics right now because he's got 5 books coming out regularly, and they're all like the best book that come out that week. So,
And Leanna says, agreed, Mars. I think she's agreeing about Deadly Class.
yeah, it's great. I mean, I would not be surprised. I feel like
Is it a monthly book?
he takes much in the same way
Breaks.
Saga
Okay.
does.
Yeah.
He takes some breaks.
Okay.
I actually am kind of behind because he took a break, and for some reason they stopped pulling it for me. But it's like I also think Black Magic is going to be a television show sooner than later because I think that that's Rooker, right?
Maybe.
I forget who's right. It's one of those two perennial crime writers from that era. But yeah, it's written like a TV show too. So, so yeah. But like, if anybody that's listening to my voice is worried about their favorite fucking comic being a television show on Sci-Fi, especially, forget. there are a lot of great shows on Sci-Fi that I can recommend that I've watched lately. But oh my fuck, if you haven't watched Happy, you're insane.
I think you've talked about it like 7 times
Because
already.
it's incredible, and it is one of the most accurate comic to cinema versions of anything I've ever seen. Like, it is that story with a whole bunch of cool shit added to make it longer, but nothing's not there.
Okay.
So it's just fucking more. It's like, I actually think that was fairly restrained, Grant Morrison. Like, this is Grant Morrison completely off the reservation again. So, so I was so happy with that, and I thought Happy was going to be garbage. I probably wouldn't have watched it if the star wasn't the star.
Yeah.
But, Deadly Class, I have really high hopes. Like I said, the Russo brothers on the 2 Captain America movies they did had some pretty fucking heavy hitter named stuntman guys in there. And
They did do. We were talking about that. He did Winter Soldier, right?
yep.
All right.
And
Civil War.
Civil War.
Now, what else have they done? Is that the first 3?
They made
flicks?
fucking a comedy show.
Oh, that's right. They directed some of the Arrested Development, right?
Are you forgetting our whole conversation?
No, but the listeners have it. That was a segue. Like,
Don't play dumb. Just say yes. We discussed that.
yes, Aries and I discussed that.
Can you tell me
It hurts my feeling. Like
I know. It's much.
his feeling?
I love Italian. And so do you.
I have one, and it gets hurt very easily.
It's true. Yeah, it's a very tender feeling. Yeah, Aries mentioned that to me. That they directed Arrested Development.
Aries is kind of a tenderoni, huh?
Yeah.
Tenderoni. All right. Evil Corny says, yeah, Sci-Fi canceled The Expanse, the bastards.
Yeah, I've heard it's awesome though.
And then he said Community. Is that what the Russos did
Yeah, I
too?
thought it was Community.
Ask Aries. He'll fucking tell you.
I'm not familiar with Community. I didn't watch that. I watched Arrested Development.
Yeah, there was nothing in. I remember when they took on Winter Soldier, there was nothing in their resume that made me think that this was a good idea. So, but they were smart and they know genre stuff. inside out.
Whoa. Raven Shadow.
What?
I'm looking at their filmography. The top thing, Quantum and Woody TV series, executive producer.
Wait, what? That's not a real thing, though.
Yeah, it is. Quantum and Woody TV series, executive producer.
But it's not a TV series.
No,
Is
but
it-
if it's in red, so there's something post-production or pre-production.
It's pre-production.
Pre-production.
Really?
It's a television adaptation of the comic book series about a pair of childhood friends who team up together to avenge the death of their fathers.
Sold.
And this is only rumored, but it says Joel McHale is rumored as Woody.
Who's that dude?
You know Joel
The guy
McHale.
from Talk Soup?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Really?
He's actually pretty funny.
He's actually pretty funny.
No, yeah, he is
Yeah.
interesting. He is entertaining. He's got a special on Netflix now.
Really?
Interesting.
Another comic people should read. At least
Well,
the original.
I know that Valiant had been making a push to try to do some TV stuff, but I didn't think that.
Wow.
I didn't hear anything about that.
Because they're doing like either a Bloodshot or a Ninjak movie, I think.
They're also looks like they're producing the Warriors TV show, a little TV series called Little Nightmares, and an untitled Ghostbusters project.
Really? Jesus. I heard there was going to be a
They're hot.
Yeah, yeah, they are. They're smoking. Wow, they're making all awesome shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
If we could live in a television world and cinematic world that them and the brothers that did Stranger Things like create, I'd
The
be okay
Duffer
with that.
Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did work. You guys are both right. They worked on Arrested Development and also Community. So
I want to see him do a nice art house picture.
I don't know if they can now.
Something like black and white. Something just, silent. See what they can do.
All right. Well, I want to head to break in just a moment here. So, also, if you guys want to continue to support, there's other ways. Go to trickortreatradio.com, click on store, and in there you're going to find some digital content. We got Trick or Treat Radio's Greatest Hits Volumes 1, 2, and 3. We have a bunch of other premium content, T-shirts, buttons, other stuff like that. Feel free to buy whatever you want. Buy something for your Nana, right? Right, Raven Shadow?
Yeah, yeah.
She'd dig it.
She likes that.
Yeah.
She likes books.
Yeah. Nice Deadites T-shirt for her.
Yeah, she likes that. Maybe a little baby doll tee.
I don't know if we have those.
No.
We used to.
Nanas look good in baby doll tees. That's what I'm
Wow.
into. Wow. Sorry.
By the way, some people have asked me about T-shirts. I said I was going to get right on that, but something changed, and it probably will be a few weeks before I get right on that. So, unless I can make a house out of shirts, that's not going to be my first priority right now.
You might be able to.
Yeah, make a fucking tent.
Maybe 10. Yeah, like a bivouac.
What's Dynamo's address? Deadites 2020.
On the corner of Extra Large.
All right, so we're going to head to break in just a moment. Raven Shadow.
Yeah.
I know you had a lot going on, but you sit down to watch the movie,
Yes.
to watch Revenge. What do you do to prepare?
Well, I really set the mood because I'm really excited. And actually, I survived the deluge that was happening with a very big storm.
Oh, yeah,
Very
we
big
did have
storm
a
in
big
New
storm
England.
yesterday.
Yeah, it was fucking nuts. There's a little
It was
water
like
in the house.
sheets of fucking rain dropping.
crazy.
Oh yeah, I came home and I never wanted the liquid on the floor to be pee more in my life. I'm like, oh, I hope the dog pissed. No, that's water coming in. Like, god damn it.
Aw.
And it wasn't bad, but I had this tar. It was kind of like the Venom symbiote. So I had to crawl into my oil tank and slap it all on. It seemed to deal with the issue. So that was nice. And I had some other problems, Johnny. Problems that seemed to keep going. And it seemed to still happen as I'm trying to watch the movie. So what I
Yeah,
do?
I think you're having some internet issues.
I had some internet issues. I called Johnny.
Yeah.
So he knew I tried.
I tried to troubleshoot. I think he just, because of the storm and everything, I think he was just having some internet issues that just kept him from streaming the movie.
Yes.
Could you have kneeled on that cord coming into the house when you
Kneel before Bod?
when you were doing tar? Like,
Maybe it was happening. Maybe I got stuck. It's stuck to the oil tank. Oh man.
Let's be honest. He doesn't have enough weight to damage a cord.
that's fair.
That's fucking mean. Like fucking strapped on. You fucking mean assholes.
Scary story. Do you love to dance? The Big Scary Monster Haunts at Midnight is a collection of dark songs about sex, love, death, revenge, and the end of the world. Brought to you by the world's greatest monster hunting electroshock band, the Deadites. Available on iTunes, Google Music, Amazon, CD Baby, and all other digital distribution sites.
Thank you guys for having me on. It's a blast. You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much.
And, Trick or Treat Radio, man. That's where it's at. That's the new Fangoria Radio is Trick or Treat Radio.
Oh,
Don't say that.
You really put us under.
It's like swearing in church. I
You
don't know.
just jinxed us.
you put a lot on our shoulders just now.
Well, we can strive for
You
greatness.
guys are awesome.
Yeah,
you really
just
are. You got
say
a
that again
great
slowly.
show.
I'm Ruby Burble.
What's up, y'all? It's me, the Yeti. Telling all the ladies that they couldn't be more fine and that we should knock those boots like Frankenstein. When I want to get my nerd on, I go to Facebook and I go to the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group. That's the place where I get to talk about all the hip new horror movies, all the cool comics,
Like comics.
RPGs, video games, you name it, we're talking about shit on there. And you could not be any cooler if you were the coolest kid in school. Be the first kid on your block to swing their cock over at the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, search for Trick or Treat Radio, ask to join, and it's like Nerd Nirvana, baby, without the shotgun blast. This is the Yeti, signing out. See you at the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group.
Follow us on Twitter at The Deadites, TheDeadites.com, and TrickOrTreatRadio.com.
Hey, you matzo heads. This is Larry Fine, and you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
All right. We are back.
Wow, already?
Back on Trick or Treat Radio.
Fast break.
Boy, we're playing basketball here? We're going to
I
fast
guess
break?
so. 1-on-1 right now. Where the hell is everybody? I'll fucking take off.
Two of
We have
them
a
are
snooze.
smoking, and one's probably shitting or making a phone call.
Or shitting
I'll-
and making a
Yeah,
phone
I'll let you
call.
decide who's who. All right, while we wait for them, I can at the very least go through the stats here of Revenge.
Yeah.
Revenge is rated R, and it is an hour and 48 minutes. It hit some festivals in 2017, but got a proper VOD release in 2018. And actually, I misspoke last week. I apologize. I said that this was going to be on Shudder, and it will be on Shudder, but not until September. All of the everything I saw, the promotional materials said Shudder exclusive, coming out May 11th. But the thing they didn't say was it's not coming out on Shudder until September. So I apologize if you guys got all excited to watch it on Shudder. If you did want to watch it, you would have had to get it on VOD. I know it was available on Amazon, probably iTunes as well. And so yeah, so I apologize if any of you guys got excited to watch it on Shudder and weren't able to.
Makes you wonder why they were. I mean, I know this is a highly anticipated film and all, but I was wondering why they were promoting it at least so early. I mean, September is still a ways off.
Yeah, it is. But if you look all over the place, it's Shudder. Shudder on the trailer, Shudder on the poster. So if it's a Shudder exclusive, you would imagine that it'll go right to Shudder, right?
You would think.
Right. So.
Well, I'm wondering if something changed at the last minute where it got a lot of hype, so they thought they could make a little money off of a theatrical release.
And that's possible because that has happened, especially on the show when we were going to do, like, for instance, we were going to do It Follows, and literally the week before we were set to do it, it got pulled from VOD.
That's right.
Because it started doing well in theaters. So it is possible, but the fact that it says it's coming in September, maybe they just decided to shift because it's been getting some pretty good buzz. It's playing in select cities, and it's got a theatrical release, and they also put it out on at least Amazon. That's the one that I knew, but I'm sure it's available on iTunes and other places as well. So yeah, it could very well be. Maybe they just decided to hold off on the Shudder release, and maybe they thought they could get some more legs out of it, have them play in theaters. Because if it's playing in theaters and it's on Shudder, there's kind of no incentive to go to the theater, right?
Right. Yeah.
If you have Shudder, so that could be what happens, but let's continue on. So this film is written and directed by Coralie Farge, and it stars Matilda Lutz, Kevin Janssens, Vincent Columba, and Guillaume Boucheda. I think that's how you say that. And the synopsis. I'm actually not crazy about the synopsis, but we'll read it anyways. Never take your mistress on an annual guy's getaway, especially one devoted to hunting. A violent lesson for 3 wealthy married men.
That synopsis sucks. This movie's about revenge, okay? It says so in the title. That's basically it.
So this film is... I think we talked about this a little earlier when we talked about A Quiet Place or some others, that it works kind of on 2 levels. Where you can look at this movie just on the surface, and it makes complete sense. It's like, okay, I get it. I get what's going on here. Or you could dig a little bit deeper into some of the symbolism and some of the other stuff going on, and get a bit of a deeper meaning. I'm not saying it's like, there's an analogy for grief or something like that, like there was in The Babadook or something along those lines. I'm not saying it's as deep as that, but there is a lot of symbolism here. And, I think that this is a pretty powerful movie no matter which way you look at it. Whether or not you like it, that's a different story. But I do think that that's a pretty powerful movie. I really want to talk about this, but Mars is not here yet, so he probably is shitting.
Fuck them. Let's just go.
I don't want to fuck them.
You're going to fuck them and you're going to like it.
So I have crazy amount of notes on this.
Holy shit, dude.
Almost 2 pages. I did a lot of research on this one because I wanted to kind of represent it because because like I said, I think that this is a movie that should be talked about.
Well, you know what? You never get to really start us off with the critique of the film. So why don't you start us off this week?
Thanks, producer Aries.
Hey, I'm looking out for you.
Hey, you know what? You're already doing a better job than he has. So,
Wow.
Then who? Then him?
Yeah, high five me.
No,
buddy.
no.
Yeah, thank you, Aries.
Nope.
Thank you, Aries. He fucking left you
Left
hanging.
me hanging, you prick.
So as I mentioned, this is the feature film debut from the director Coralie Farge, and she's done other stuff. Like she's been a second unit director. She's worked on a lot of other films. Second unit director, assistant director. She's even acted in a miniseries and done some other stuff like that. And she's also done some shorts. So this is her feature debut. Actually, I want to get this one going. I want to play this here in studio because I think this will be good to play. So let me get that rolling here. Right off the bat. So I guess what we'll do is we'll kind of set the scene. There's not a whole lot of setup here. It's a pretty simple setup. We have Richard and Jen, and they go away to this island, like kind of a getaway, and they're going to have some fun in quotations because Richard is married with kids, and this is his mistress, Jen. And mistress, that sounds
Mistress
so like
Jen.
Yeah, he's having an affair with her. I like that better than mistress. Yeah, and so you have to take a helicopter to this island. That's the only way on or off it. And once they're there, Richard and Jen are just kind of having fun. Lots of illicit sex and drinking and whatever.
And the place is a utopia. It's
beautiful.
beautiful.
It's beautiful. Yeah, absolutely.
Simply stunning.
And it's very calculated, but there are a lot of gratuitous shots of Jen in this.
Oh, God damn it.
Oh, sure.
But butt shots, the way that she's moving, like it's. I think in a way, like one of the things that you'll learn as we continue to talk about this is a lot of this movie kind of revolves around the male gaze, and I think they set this up by showing the woman as an object. Like that was very deliberate to show Jen as an object. She's just hypersexualized, and all that you see about her is like she's sucking on a lollipop. She's bleach blonde. She's tanning. Like
Got
very
the crop top going. The micro skirt. I mean,
she's talking about like going to L.A. Like she's very. I don't want to say typical, but very like, very much kind of like
textbook.
Exactly, yeah, textbook. What guys think of as like the kind of ideal sort of pretty girl, I think. So that was very deliberate in this case, I believe, to do that. Let me start it for you here, Raven Shadow.
Thank you.
I know you're you're a little eager over there.
Yeah. And on the other end, you got the males, who are basically driven on their, I guess you could say, their primal instinct of food, sex, and hunting, as well as taking over, I guess you could say, within their group. I mean, of men.
Yeah. And so Leanna in the chat room says, so already isolated with the helicopter. Yeah. So it's. I mean, we're watching it here now in studio, and you can see, they're landing. It's very. Let me go forward a little bit here for you, Raven Shadow.
Here we go.
You saw this already. You had to have seen this. If you watched the
No.
first... I thought you got like 20 minutes in at least.
I remember an ant.
Yes, so you saw this then.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's
okay.
nice.
You're a little too excited for that ass.
Yeah.
Well,
for
he's got a
his
nice
ass.
You know what though? It was.
Works out. No, I like that she grabbed like the grabbing. She's like.
It was equal opportunity nudity in this.
Good. See,
Absolute. Well,
which-
you know what?
No,
No,
you
I think there was more male nudity.
You saw
than
more
this.
male bits than female bits.
Okay,
in
Yeah.
this movie.
fair. You're right. You're absolutely right. There was a lot of gratuitous butt shots.
Yeah.
Was Shawn Michaels in it?
No, but I don't think we saw her breasts or anything, did we?
Maybe a side shot, But here you get to see the
Yeah,
guys.
floppy peen.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yeah, he's
By
bouncing
Joel.
all over the place. My favorite part is the way she was saying Richard.
Oh, you like that part?
Yeah, that was pretty
Oh,
cool.
you were closing your eyes, weren't you?
One thing I want to say, so Leanna says, so the movie starts us out with basic bullshit about gender roles to take a piss out of them later. Yes. And it's, I had mentioned the director's name, but just for clarity's sake, it is a woman director. So just want to make sure that's Coralie. I would imagine most people would think is a woman's name, but just to be completely clear about that. And I think because of that, this film feels different than most films of this. Whoa, bless you. Than most films of this sort of subgenre. I guess we'll call it what it is, the rape revenge subgenre. So we have Jen, who is very hypersexualized. She's very confident in her sexuality and her body. And then so they have a night, and then the next morning they have a night together, and then the next morning she wakes up, goes to the kitchen, and she sees two guys with fucking rifles, like in hunting gear, waiting at the door, and she's like, "What the fuck?" You know?
Right.
And so it's Richard's friends. What are their names? Stan and Dimmy, was it?
I think so. Yeah,
I
Dimmy.
believe it was Dimmy.
Dimmy.
So Stan and Dimmy, the friends, show up, like right there, like kind of a gratuitous butt shot right there, and then they show up, and things kind of take a little turn. You know, like it seems like they showed up a day early, and Richard and Jen like were gonna have like another day together, but they didn't have that. So then they end up hanging out with the friends, and then later on they get drunk. Everyone's kind of drinking, and Jen comes out and starts dancing. She's doing kind of like a
Very provocative.
kind of provocative, but it's once again it's that's her prerogative, right? Like she's kind of there's some drinking and the music, and there's nothing wrong with that, but what's wrong is that the guys, especially Stan, who she starts dancing with, Stan thinks like that she's coming on to him. Okay. That he feels kind of like entitled to her because he got turned on, you know? And then she sort of goes and then dances with Richard, and he's like, you know, maybe kind of like had blue balls, right? Like kind of like, what the fuck, you know? Like,
Right.
So, you know, but she's just having fun, right? But I think it was very purposeful that we have sort of Jen being this sort of like, I don't mean to say that she's insipid, but kind of like this, she's kind of one note, right? Like she's just hypersexualized and having fun. Like that is what's going on, you know, in the first 20 minutes.
Well, I think this scene here that we're looking at plays a huge part in this, because here she is in a room with her lover, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
With two guys she has absolutely no idea who they are at all, and she's just standing there, dressed, cut off shirt,
right, panties. Yeah.
You know, and just not thinking much of it at all. So she's already given the feeling, especially towards Stan, that you know, this is okay. You know.
Well, I mean, she also had no idea they were going to show up. So
yeah, but I mean, I think any girl would have in this situation. I think any girl would have run to the next room, or at least cover herself. You know.
No, because she's not in her panties. She's in a bathing
It's
suit.
bathing,
I believe that's her idea of swim attire. It's just
okay.
it's
All right.
just a
Yeah, you're right.
t-shirt
It is a
and
bathing
bathing
suit. You're
suit
right.
bottoms.
It is. All right. I thought it was panties. Okay.
But still, like I don't know, she's a grown ass woman. No, like men haven't seen her in her underwear before. Like she's gonna fucking run away because like, oh, what is she 9? I'm in my undies. Oh, don't look at me, boys. Like, I don't know. It's like she's trying to be like presumably like.
No, I understand that, but
like,
there is that double standard where you could see a woman in her bathing suit, but you can't see her in her underwear.
What are you fucking talking about?
Mars, did you know who that was wrestling? They kept cutting to a wrestling match.
No, they showed the same shot like 3
I know.
times.
I know. I just thought that was pretty funny.
Who was it?
I don't know. I was trying to find out. So Leanna asks, MZ, are you victim blaming?
Oh,
No.
shit. Down a rabbit hole now.
Just making an observation.
But what? I don't. I think I think you're saying a word you don't mean though. There's not a double standard that you can see them in their bathing suit and not in their underwear. Like I don't know. I guess I don't know what that means.
Well, I just think and maybe I don't know if I'm interpreting right, MZ, but that she would maybe feel kind of like ashamed if she was in her panties with other people around.
I mean, she doesn't wear very much anyway, so I don't think that would bother.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's part of the problem.
Why?
Well, I mean, because she's wearing not much clothing to start off with,
Yeah.
which
But
is
she's
which
also
is fine.
in the house with her lover,
Yeah.
and didn't realize anyone else was showing up.
Yeah, but don't you see that that's the part that I'm talking about?
No, but
When
we don't get it.
when people show up, then you have absolutely you think you have complete solitude with one other person, then not just one but two other people with rifles show up.
All I can imagine is MZ answering the door naked. You're not gonna fucking run.
Come on in. I was just jerking off.
The people outside the door would run.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
She was obviously startled because she dropped her glass and apple.
Yeah, sure.
But I mean, it's a glass room. Where's she gonna run
Yeah,
to?
yeah.
To another
The whole,
room.
the whole house is glass, pretty much, except for the walls dividing it.
But what's your thesis? Is what I'm asking. You're saying because she stayed, she's egging them on.
In a sense, sure.
Oh,
My
I'm gonna
God.
blow my head off.
What?
No, he's not. No, I think
The views of
That's-
Monster
yeah.
Zero do not necessarily represent the views of the
if
other members
Aries-
of this.
if Aries
podcast.
says that, then you know something's really
Oh,
going on.
I think what he's saying.
No,
is
no.
that-
I did say that to the point of Stan.
From the guy's perspective, they're interpreting that she's staying as she digs them being there. Is what you're
Exactly.
saying. Right. So
Thank
she's
you.
not doing anything wrong. But if
Right.
guys,
you should bring Raven Shadow everywhere you go.
Oh my God. She doesn't have a problem with what she's wearing. She finds no need to flee that area.
Right.
She was startled, and now she's looking for an explanation as to why these two are standing in front of her.
but they're seeing that as an invitation, just the way when she was kissing her boyfriend and they could see her ass. Like, I'm sure from their perspective.
Well, no, not from that initial scene. He's in his delusional mind seeing that she's coming on to him in this scene where she's just dancing, she's flirting, she's having fun.
Well, these are people who can
Yeah.
usually buy anything.
I mean,
So
True.
Stan's the type of guy that goes into a strip club and thinks that every stripper's in love with him.
Right. And there is certainly a sense of entitlement.
yeah,
And especially right now, we're watching Jen kind of calls Stan, like she motions to him to come dance with her, you know. So he takes this as interest, you know, and he feels that he is, I'm using finger quotes, owed something because Jen turned him on and mistook her having fun as being into him. So, like, you can see he's clearly into this, and she's just kind of just playing around, you know, like they're all drinking, like, you know. That shit like that happens, right? So Stan, on the other hand, is thinking one thing, and then we'll find out the next day he has this sense of entitlement of
Right.
like, you did this to me, therefore I'm entitled to you because
Yeah.
you turned me on.
right.
this is a breach of contract.
Yes.
And I mean, here's the thing that a lot of men, not even like just rich entitled men, a lot of men don't. She may have wanted to fuck him the night before. She didn't, but that doesn't mean that he's entitled to fuck her the next day. And that's kind of a lot of
Exactly.
that's a lot of like the
Right.
where a lot of short-term predatory situations happen. Like, you know, as soon as that interest is there, like a lot of men are just thinking that now they're just waiting in queue for their time to get laid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. On that night, she may have slept with all three of them.
Right.
But that was just that night.
Yeah. That doesn't mean that, like, you know, but I mean, again, like, it would be like me to assume that, you know, one of the ladies in the Deadites, you know, wanted to sleep with me because I've danced close to them before. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like dancing is fun and it is a little sexy, but it doesn't mean it's not like
It's not an
like
open invitation.
Yeah, it's
for
not
you
a
to-
gateway drug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like
I don't know. Dancing with you is almost like a drug.
You like it?
Oh, wow.
You like it that much?
You overdosed.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So we have now we're watching it, and the next day, Jen wakes up and she kind of strolls out there, and Richard
Even
has
her name, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And Richard has gone. Her lover Richard has gone on an errand somewhere, and Dimmy is asleep in the fucking pool, and then it's Stan, greets her, welcomes her, has her sit down at the table, and then very shortly after, I'm just gonna move ahead here because it's just them kind of talking, and so they go in. She goes to take a shower, and then Stan comes in the bedroom while she's getting dressed, basically. And then it has this really awkward scene about basically saying, what's wrong with me? Like, it was really awkward. He's like, last night you were into me, and today not at all. What changed? He has, once again, that sense of entitlement.
Right.
And I think the distinction here is that Stan's insecurity and his fragile masculinity kind of leads to what happens next, where he feels like he was led on and deserved something, and then when it wasn't given to him, he took it.
He takes it.
Yeah,
which is again the primal thought of man. Where if he doesn't get it, he takes it.
That's an easy way to as men, we need to be better.
Oh, sure.
Whether or not you're right, I'm not saying like men certainly have urges, but whether that's true or not, like, we need to be better than that. There's like Mars had mentioned, the contract. Like, I don't mean to make it sound so sterile, but there's a contract between people, and it has to go both ways. It has to be consensual. If it's not consensual, go find someone else.
I also am not a sociologist and not much of a historian, but like, I also am not like, I think a lot of those natural instincts are like as much propaganda of 50s advertisement hyper masculinity as they are actual. Like, I'm not gonna just sit on the fact that like men were in the ancient times were necessarily terrible rapists because I saw it in a Ringo Starr movie. It's we don't know how it was then, but we do know that we've been presented our entire life that men, gatherers, you know what I mean? Like,
gatherers,
like that's all fucking like 50s propaganda. Like, don't
and also we live in a very patriarchal society where
forever.
Yeah, forever. You're right. Like, since I don't even fucking know, like the dawn of time almost. And
think about I had this conversation with the kids that I work that I am in charge of now, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. And think about the first feminine historical figure that you can remember that was supposedly important was Betsy Ross, who sewed something.
I would say Betsy Ross.
Yeah, we didn't. I mean, I don't know how much Joan of Arc we were taught in, 4th grade, but I mean, again. At the end of the day, like, it's just been forever, and again, we've been like, not only have we lived in a very patriarchal society, we were educated at a very patriarchal slant.
Right. And that's how things are taught. Like, if you think back to like kind of like the 50s, 60s kind of household of the man provides by going to work and the woman stays home in the kitchen, like these like religions have been trying to shove this down people's throats forever. Like, I actually remember a wedding that a few of us were at. I think it was the only Roman Catholic wedding I had ever been to. I'm sure MZ knows exactly which one I'm talking about.
I know the line.
You want to say it then?
What was it? Man.
It basically boiled
Take her
down.
home, bathe her. That was one of the lines.
Well, it basically boiled down to the woman is there to provide for the man, to cook for him, to take care of him, and it basically solidified those fucking gender roles of how a patriarchal society would do it. And it was like, women are there for cooking and taking care of their man, and the man is there for doing the fucking hard work and going out there and making money. And that just like I was so turned off by that. Like I couldn't be into that wedding anymore because of some of the stuff that I was hearing. And that was the only like Roman Catholic wedding I had ever been to, and
Really?
I don't know if I ever want to go to another one again.
Yeah, that sounds pretty crappy.
And we all looked at each other, that whole row. We all were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
was this?
yeah. So it's
The only one of those I went to. Oh, sorry, I did that for real by accident this time. The only one of those I went to, me and Slacks and Tiny got in trouble and had to sit in the back because it took so long beforehand. We were doing. Imagine if they had like the movie sizzle reel like they have at theaters now, where they give the trivia and stuff like that, and the word scrambles.
yeah.
So the mother of the bride made us go sit somewhere else.
One thing, Creepy Girl is in the chat room, and she's saying that she didn't think that the reaction that Jen made was realistic. She should have stood up to him. Unfortunately, Melissa, that's not how it goes in real life. You know, like
Jen was a very
she was. Go ahead, Mars. I'm sorry,
small person too. Like like he wasn't the biggest one of that crew, but she was a very.
Well, and it doesn't matter. Though.
And you also
it doesn't
don't
matter how big.
Well,
the
I know,
person
but
is.
like he could have overpowered her, and we don't know we don't know what went on. They didn't show it, gratefully enough. Like, so we don't know exactly what went on in that situation to say that she didn't like act anyway.
Jesus
Like,
But there was also the realization that the two of them were not alone, and a third party could have intervened and
true,
did
too.
Oh, yeah.
nothing.
Dimmy walked in, saw them, and Stan basically said, "If you're gonna, you can either come and have fun with me or shut the fucking door and get out of here." And he left. He went and turned the TV on.
Because he didn't want to hear all the screams and all
right.
the other shit.
So
that
he was
going on in that room.
complicit. He was complicit by walking out, shutting the door, and then he turns around, and just when you think he might do something,
yeah,
he turns the fucking TV on to drown out the sound, and then goes out and goes swimming.
right.
And it's a powerful scene.
Get as
too.
isolated
Very.
as he possibly can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my overall point was that she may have fought back and couldn't.
Well, no, I mean, my point with that is that she probably has a realization that even if she fought back against this one guy, there's another guy
Yeah, it's
here
possible.
that
And it was also like her lover's friend.
Right.
So like I don't know what it would ever be like to be in that situation. Like, unfortunately, we probably all know a lot of women that have been in similar situations.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? I mean, do you stand up and to a person? Like, granted, maybe you want to, but like that's not like that's all well and good, but that's that's like a fucking like movie reaction of like it's in real life. That's not what happens.
It's the same
because this happens all the fucking time.
It's the same as the asinine pro-gun reaction, right? That
Right.
if somebody's robbing a bank and somebody has a
Yeah,
concealed
well,
weapon that they're
exactly,
gonna fucking
yeah.
turn into Wide Earp and save the day.
And also the other point, Creepy Girl, is if she stood up to him, we don't have a fucking movie. So just saying,
Yeah, but I do think that I don't
'cause-
think that. I think also perhaps, and this is an uglier truth of it, we don't know what went on, and they did that very artfully. But part of her makeup at this point is probably to be compliant to powerful men. You know what I mean? Like she didn't paint a very powerful woman figure at the beginning of the film. Her hopes and dreams were very shallow, and her we use the term basic, I guess, or what was it? Paint by number. You know what I mean, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, for she at this point in the film is unfortunately not a very powerful woman. So maybe it is in her makeup to be treated this poorly.
So shit just got real now.
Oh,
by the way,
shit.
while we're watching it. So
What a fucking douche.
in this, like, we get a lot of characterizations of sexual predators and rapists, I guess we'll just say. We have obviously the rapist, we have the friend that turns a blind eye, and we have the other one who offers a hush money payment to shut her up, which is way more relevant.
The apologist.
That's
Right. Which I'm sure is way more relevant now than the
Yeah.
director had even intended when she wrote it.
Right.
So and then the minute Jen she tries to bargain with Richard, call the helicopter now or I'll call your wife and tell her everything. Richard's tune changed. At this point, Jen is no longer like an object of desire. She is a threat. Right. And at that point, he fucking slapped her. And that she ran out, and then they all chased after her because at this point, no one has any need for her because she is sort of like, as most men would say, she's now a bitch, because now she doesn't just want to have sex with me. She's causing problems. And I'm using a lot of finger quotes here because, that's what a lot of men think.
Yeah, because now she's standing up for herself, and they don't seem to like that too much.
No, that's like I've never been a proponent that bullies usually like fold when someone fights back, but they don't like it.
So, and then we have the scene here, and I guess I kind of want to say what happens next, but is it spoiler if I mention what happens?
I would not.
I was fucking shocked.
Yeah. So something shocking happens at this point in time. We'll just say that, and we'll kind of leave it there because a lot of people probably haven't seen this movie yet since it just came out. Yeah. So Richard pretends to call the helicopter. Clearly, he doesn't, and then something shocking happens. And this is kind of Jen's journey where she's now changing. Like something different is Raven Shadow just saw it.
Oh, that's fucking shocking.
See?
It's pretty hardcore. It is hardcore. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. There's gonna be a movie after this?
Yeah.
12 years
How the
later.
hell is that gonna happen? But
so
there is.
We're not even a half hour in, and shit really picks up. So, yeah, so that was really unexpected. What happens there?
Oh yeah, I checked the running time on that.
Yeah,
after
you're like,
that.
is it over?
I was like, really? Just okay? Oh, okay.
Wow.
But the movie is pacing itself really, really well. You get to know
Yeah.
all the characters, their motivations, what they're all about, and the best part is that these are the only 4 characters you have to worry about.
Yeah, there's really like only 4 characters
It's a
and like
minuscule
another tertiary character, the helicopter driver.
And you don't even see him, and it's minuscule cast, and everyone is fleshed out to the max, just wonderfully done.
Yeah, and one of the other things that I thought was crazy is how easily Richard was able to compartmentalize everything. Like he just sort of like took this all in stride. Like it's almost like it didn't even mean anything to her because all of a sudden he went from having a weekend away with his lover to all of a sudden like turning on her on a dime, So it's just crazy how, and I think that really kind of talks about how speaks to how men view women and how very quickly they can just sort of turn on a dime.
Well, let's not. He
These
is
kind of guys.
he is a
Well,
sociopath.
I'm talking about rapists.
Yeah.
So-
Well, he's a sociopath.
Yes, he's also a sociopath. Yes, I will definitely agree with you there. So, and clearly the other guys like Stan and Dimmy did what they did, but I think that they had an ounce of regret, maybe, about what happened.
I don't know. I know that watch Stan's reaction when he fakes to call the helicopter.
Yeah.
Because he's pissed because he thinks he's going to have to be held
Sure.
responsible for what he did. Like so, he's just like, I think he is the best worst character in this film.
Yeah.
Because he is, all the bad habits of this terrible kind of person really boiled down into like a cohesive sketch. Like he wants to do, like he's really waiting for everyone else to clean up after him in every element of life.
Well, I mean, out of these 3, there's definitely the alpha bully, and
Richard.
the other 2, Richard. Sorry, Richard. He's the alpha bully, and the other 2, sometimes reluctantly, but always follow what he says.
Yeah, and
Right.
if they step out of line even the slightest, or even ask a question that somehow that Richard thinks is going to change what his plan is. He lets him have it, and he lets him have it hardcore.
But it's interesting too. Like they know how he feels. How they like this is not to say that it's gone to this level before, but this is a habitual thing because Stan knows how unimportant Jen is to Richard. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been brave enough to pull that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he knows that this is like eating this. This isn't like hurting someone he cares about. This is like eating his sandwich in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
You know.
I want to go back real quick because we didn't talk too much about the assault scene, and this was probably the most. I mean, I hate to call it tastefully done, but it was the least gratuitous rape scene I've seen in a movie like this.
Yeah, it showed only what needed to get shown.
Well, knowing
it was shot perfectly well.
knowing
And I think that's part of seeing it from a female perspective. The act is horrible enough.
Right.
You don't need to necessarily see it. And I
Yeah.
think that's the difference here, like as opposed to what we see with Last House on the Left.
I Spit on Your Grave.
Oh, I'm sorry, Spit on Your Grave. Yeah.
Same thing, same difference.
Yeah,
though.
same difference. Yep.
But I think that's what's interesting because when I knew what this was kind of about and where it was coming from, I didn't know how you could do it because I do love I Spit on Your Grave, and I think it's one of my favorite films. And I think that though I am repulsed by it, too, it is undeniably beautiful in times, in great contradiction to these terrible things. But I am also not tricked into thinking that there needed to be 2 10-minute rape scenes in it.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Like,
for sure,
like
yeah.
those are
And that's from
those are exploitation.
Yes,
you know?
absolutely, and that's from a male perspective as
Right.
well. You know,
So
and Miyazaki, you know.
So I think that I didn't know how they were going to do it because there's a great article that encapsulated my worry about how this was going to be handled. Either way, I didn't get to read it, but it's an interview with the director in the newest Rue Morgue. And it's, like the headline is dealing with this taboo subject matter in a post-Weinstein world.
Yeah.
And, Weinstein's such a target thing. We forget that our president is a fucking rapist.
Yeah,
So
the
like,
highest, office in the fucking country.
yeah, in an adulterer. But like at the end of the day, like that's a tough pill for me to swallow for another reason. I knew I had an idea where I thought the director was from, and the worst rape scene in the history of cinema, in my opinion, came from that country. So, like I had no idea what I was in store for.
Irreversible?
I was nervous to watch this
yeah.
all week for that reason because I don't like to see that stuff at all. Like,
Well, it's tough. It's tough to make a rape revenge film and not make it exploitation.
Gratuitous and exploit. Yeah.
You know, and
This-
I think what the director did here was almost a master of
Really?
a stroke of genius.
This is like, to be fair, this is not an exploitation film in the way that
it's
others
not.
were.
No, it's
that's
it's
fair.
definitely not exploitation. But I think the director
Wrong.
No, it is exploitation,
Wrong.
not in the way that the others were.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a movie about a fucking woman wandering around the desert in her underwear for 45 minutes. Do not tell me that this is not an exploitation film.
But it's
more a zombie film.
It's exploitation with a purpose.
Right.
To
but
drive home a
that's
point.
the real magic trick of this
All right,
film.
all right.
Yeah.
Because
All right.
there is an argument to be made that even if you have a purpose, right, the marketability of that salaciousness is not lost. You have a beautiful woman running around in her underwear for 45 minutes.
Now, would it be any different, say, if a man was to direct this?
Well,
They wouldn't have done it this way.
yeah.
She would have been topless. the whole time.
Sure. I agree.
No, I mean-
I agree
Now,
with that.
now,
but
I'll argue the point of the exploitation in in any of the marketing for this movie. Was it shown that she's walking around in her underwear?
Not that
what
I.
makes
That's
that's not what makes an exploitation film, though.
But it's kind of.
You're not going to argue what exploitation films are with me, right? Like,
I don't know.
like that would be like me going out to the woods and
because
talking about poison ivy with you. Like, I think at the end of the day, like
This film wasn't marketed that way then.
The original I Spit on Your Grave didn't, like the VHS cover eventually did, but didn't have Camille Keaton naked on the cover, or didn't have her in some state of undress. It was like
Supposedly it was Demi Moore, but that's a rumor.
yeah, but I can think of like a million exploitation. I mean, I didn't think the only marketing I saw of this was the cover of Rue Morgan, the thumbnail on the on-demand thing.
I mean,
But-
well, just every exploitation film that I granted, I'm not talking that every exploitation film that I'm familiar with, there is some implication on the promotional material that leads you to believe that it is exploitation. You know, there's a scantily clad woman in some degree.
What about Last House on the Left? What about Maniac?
I don't consider Maniac.
You
How about,
clean slipped your wits.
How about Deliverance? Is
Yeah,
that
that's
exploitation?
definitely that's like a Deliverance, in my opinion, is
Yeah.
like a Jaws. It's a studio kind of trying to, like, you know, put lipstick on a pig a little bit. Like it's like, you know, a studio making an exploitation film. Deliverance is definitely, when I was giving somebody kind of what this reminded me of, Deliverance was on the list, but I think that Maniac is the most exploitation of exploitation films.
Yeah, I mean,
The
there
Joe
were,
Spinell one, maybe not the Frodo one.
Yeah.
This
Yeah, I
is-
don't recall any. I don't recall any women's groups marching outside theaters for the remake. But during the original Maniac, man, the pickets everywhere. That movie was vilified, and understandably so.
So I wanted to. Right now, we're watching the scene where Jen had sort of she went off and she's in a cave now. So she's kind of hunkered down here. By the way, I fucking love this scene. And
I hate this scene.
Really?
Yes.
When whatever like what happens with the can, when that happened, I seriously did like a fist bump because
it's all kinds of wrong.
Oh shit.
I don't care about the wrongness of it. It's
Oh,
a fucking movie. It's,
No.
If
No.
you're gonna bring
All
up what I
kinds of wrong.
think, if you're gonna bring up what I think you're gonna bring up,
I'm not going to bring up anything on air, but there's just all kinds of wrong with this scene.
well, this could never happen. First of all, like this wouldn't have happened. She wouldn't have got to this point. But it is a movie. There is some metaphor here, and in this, so she's in the cave, and one of the things I try to do, I'm certainly no El Goro, but I'm trying to sort of expand my cinematic language, you know. And one of the things that, like, you kind of, after you watch a lot of movies, you kind of see some repeat things come up. So in terms of caves, like, I actually, what got me here was digging deeper into The Last Jedi, which everyone's seen now, by the way, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, you know, there's that scene where Rey goes into the cave, you know, so, and also happens in Empire as well.
First.
But this is there's probably more parallels here. So one of the things, if you kind of, I did look this up. I'm reading it directly from you know, one of the definitions of I think it was from a philosopher, but basically it was, caves are prevalent images in the world of myth, legend, and cults. The cave is thought to be closely related to the symbolic heart and is often a place where the self and ego unite. Psychologists interpreted Dreamer's dangerous passage through caves as symbolizing the search for the meaning of life in the deep strata of the maternal unconsciousness.
I also find there's
I have one more sentence. Entering the cave is considered re-entry into the womb of
that's
the
what
mother.
I was gonna say.
Yep.
Yeah. Which
And
between the embolism that happens,
symbolism, right?
well, it's an emblem.
Oh!
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about
Yeah.
this. Okay.
Yeah, like the symbolism from the embolism
Yes,
that happens
yes.
in this, and the
Fair.
thing like, I didn't mind that it happened. I'm not coming from where Aries Double is here, but the what I didn't like was like the doubling down on that kind of reborn iconography. Like I felt like it was a little I don't want to say pandering, but I felt like, well, if you didn't get this, you'll get this. You know what I mean? Like I just felt like it was too much.
I didn't think so because the cave kind of hit me a little bit later, but I just thought that was a badass moment when you see. So she kind of cauterizes her like a wound, and there's some symbol that appears after that, and I just thought that it might have been a little heavy-handed, but it was one of those things where I really literally pumped my fist and was like, that's fucking cool.
The cave hit me right before you saw the result of that because
Yeah.
there was a long shot where she was in the fetal position in front of the fire on the
Yes.
inside of the cave.
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah.
I was like, oh, that's like I almost said like that's perfect. And then they went. I didn't mind it, but like I should say you know what? I guess I kind of to a degree do agree with Ares because in the moment, not from a Patsy the Angry Nerd science type point of view, but from a like just kind of heavy-handed point of view. I was like, I don't know that like this movie has managed to switch its tone. And now I worried that it was switching it a third time at that point because I felt like it was like just a little too silly, I guess.
Well, and so I actually listened to a little bit of an interview with the director because I wanted to see what she had in mind because there's a lot to interpret here. It could be, you could take it a few different ways, but basically what she said was when she set out to write this, she had superhero movies in mind, and she viewed this as a sort of origin. She's not saying that this is a superhero, but she took the kind of the hero's journey of like a superhero of how they start and where they end up, and that's sort of what the arc sort of goes on, which I thought was really interesting because it's not like she didn't take I Spit on Your Grave or any of these other rape revenge films. It just happened to be that this was the story.
I mean, I
think
to a degree she did because there was a couple elements in this film, especially I Spit on Your Grave, but to probably of what I would say are unfortunately two of three of the most famous rape revenge films. They both handle water in a way that this film handles it as well. So I not quite Bobcat Goldthwait not seeing Blair Witch Project levels of me being incredulous, but like I would be pretty incredulous if she hadn't seen at least I Spit on Your Grave.
I'm sure she has
because like there is a element of like handling there's the water and stuff like that are very they're the same they're almost the same, like the pool and whatever that is, a river or a lake or whatever that is, are handled almost exactly the same in the way they're shot because they are both tranquil and you could see them like moving, like the pool, the thing that cleans the pool is always keeping that thing like moving at first. So at first view, it's very tranquil, but it's very almost like, I don't want to say rough water, but the water is like always in motion.
And one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to read a review of this written by a woman because I just wanted to get that perspective, and I found an awesome one from Screen Crush, and the author was her name's Britt Hayes, and I wanted to quote this because I read this and thought this was fucking awesome. She said, in referring to Jen in the movie, she said she is Jem without her holograms because she had the star earrings.
Oh yeah.
And barreling down Fury Road, she is a feminine apparition in a misogynistic wasteland. I just thought that was fucking awesome. Like that's
pretty much sums it up.
Way more poetic than I ever could put it. And she had some other stuff to say. I'll reference her a little bit later after we kind of get near the end of this. But so I don't want to talk too much about the cave because I think that's a really cool scene, and I want people to kind of find that on their own. But after that, something changes in her, like after that scene, and she becomes kind of a different person. It's very different from the person we saw at the very beginning of the movie in the first 10, 15 minutes.
She's a survivalist now.
Yeah, even more than that. She is like a badass who's not going to stand for anything.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really cool way to go about doing it. And let's see. The other thing too, I don't know if you guys got this, and once again, maybe I'm looking a little bit too deep into this, but her wound. Do you think there was something to to that? Was there some symbolism that you guys?
Are you talking about when she cauterized her wound?
Well,
Is that what you mean?
the wound that she had, like she had.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to say because we were kind of not spoiling the shocking scene, so I didn't want to say, but
the location of that could have been a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Location and what it was, and
yeah.
I thought that there certainly could be a little something there.
Yeah, I could see what you're talking about there. Yeah.
The other thing too, and there was some symbolism here with we had the ant. Where there was like kind of like they show the scene with the blood dripping on the ant, and then the dude pissing on the spider. Mm-hmm. Did that kind of stir anything for any of you guys? Like, I just thought that maybe there was something I was missing.
Well, I feel like the spider thing. If there was another metaphor there, I felt like it was just to show that this guy liked to hurt things that were smaller than him, but also, he also kind of, in a way, not that he knew this, but was kind of playing with fire. And I think the ant thing was an overall metaphor for the trajectory of the story, in the sense that these people, these things that like just devour everything that they come in contact with, these, kind of like using, I hate this sort of heavy-handed rhetoric, but to put it bluntly, like the corporate man of the world that just kind of thinks that, just bully through everything and just kind of take whatever is in their way, just kind of march through whatever they're their way, using an ant as that metaphor, and then they get destroyed by their own creation almost. You know what I mean? Like that ant got like devoured by its own quest for greed. And its primal entitlement to get, what it thought it wanted at all costs. It basically was destroyed by the blood that it drew. Even though it didn't draw it. You know what I mean? Like if putting that's how I took it. Like there's probably a smarter person that would, that spider. I thought one thing that was lost. I think that was a bad kind of spider that you don't want to get bit by.
I think that was a recluse spider.
Yeah, I think so too.
The brown recluse.
I think that it kind of showed that he was kind of playing with fire and kind of what he, in his bullying antics, So that's kind of how I took it. I do going into the. It's just crazy for me.
Aren't you reacting to that?
Creepy girl in the chat room said she didn't feel like an exploitation film either, and I think that the best ones always don't usually. You know what I mean? For me, when you cross that line between like I Spit on Your Grave and they call it, like, I think they call her One Eye, like though
I love
though renowned.
Yeah.
I think that movie is fucking trash. Like I think that's like terrible. Like I love I Spit on Your Grave, but I think that I Spit on Your Grave, other than the rape scenes and some of the acting, like that's much better shot than your average exploitation film. I'd like to see anybody like argue that point. Maniac is another example. Like Maniac feels grimy and exploitation-y, but like, and no disrespect to it, but watch Maniac within 24 hours of watching Brain Dead or Basket Case. Like the cinematography and everything about it, like, that feels like a very artsy, we'd say, film, like to steal a, and I do feel like to steal the catchphrase of one of the proto versions of what we're doing today, the best ones of these go from the art house to the outhouse, over the course of the same film.
So I want to start to wind this down a little bit. There was I guess I want to talk a little bit about the effects. I thought the effects in this were really well done.
Terrific.
Oh, wonderful.
There's the scene with like Dimmy when he's in the water, like what he looks like after. I thought
all
was
bloated.
It was really good. And then there's also the foot injury. I won't say who sustains it, but that actually isn't too far from the truth because a couple years ago, T-Dog had a nearly identical.
Oh, that's
injury,
right. That's right.
and it was fucking brutal, and that that made me kind of recoil a little bit just because of the it kind of triggered that memory of oh my god,
yeah, my jaw stiffened watching that, and I was like,
yeah, it was tough. And I won't say that about many films because I don't really feel that way very often. But
and it was done, and it was played out so well too because it
Yeah.
wasn't gratuitous. It was
it
practically
seemed
correct.
realistic. Yeah, it
was,
seemed realistic.
Yeah, it was practically correct.
The only thing that wasn't there wasn't and once again, this is nitpicking because I've seen a foot that's been sliced open like that, almost the same exact way. But you didn't see any of the kind of the fat kind of the foot,
Which is
the
the fucking
muscle
worst when
pushing
those cuts
out.
happen.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Otherwise, it looked great.
I think that I had texted Wolfie early in the day and said this was tough to watch.
Yeah.
It wasn't it wasn't exactly what he was thinking. I actually found her treatment tough to watch. That's what was bothering me, and the way the drowning scene and stuff like that, all that stuff was really making me very uncomfortable because I didn't know we still hadn't got to the point where we knew where that was going to go, right? She hadn't become what she would eventually come at the end of the film, or in the middle of the film. So I thought that I was worried that we were going to get 35 more minutes of this small person getting the shit kicked out of him and then somebody tripping on a rock or something like that. You know what I mean? So, which again, I will say, even when I got the cut of this film's jib, another reason that it reminded me of some of the best exploitation in just cinema ever is that I was very happy I was watching it alone. I was very happy I didn't have to explain any of this.
I have to tell you guys, I watched this at work today.
At work.
And it was I paused it. I alt tabbed. This is a tough film to watch at work.
You mean it's a NSFW, really?
Yeah, very much so. Especially when there's male peeing on screen,
That's
and
fine.
I would have watched this at Dunkin' Donuts today if their Wi-Fi ever worked. But I was very glad that I didn't. That I was watching this by myself in the cool kids cave and not up somewhere where there are other people watching it.
Yeah, it is definitely a bit of an uncomfortable movie, and in several ways, I think, and I think it definitely elicits sort of a visceral response too. I was just oh man, and there was a few times when I definitely wanted to be sort of audible, or I wanted to say something, and oh man, this is an impressive film, and in a few different ways, but just the fact that a film could make me kind of recoil that alone right there is something that doesn't get done very often.
Yeah, it's an interesting case because a lot of these films that of this particular subgenre, or even slashers, or you know what I mean, there's literally been tomes and tomes of textbooks written about the way horror films treat women, and some of the misinterpretations and some of the other things. But I think this is one of the ones that's worth defending because the journey is important in it. Everyone here has found themselves having to defend some of their art that they like and being on the wrong end of it, right? I actually had a similar thing happen to me the other day that happened to one of my favorite podcasters. I was watching New Japan at work, and I was literally saying, you guys can stay because this is New Japan and nothing ever happens. And out fucking treks Yu-Gi-Oh! And his half-dressed bunny nymph, like dancing around half naked and being like, well, I guess maybe you shouldn't have saw that. But like we've all we've all been on the side of our art that where like it's undefensible sometimes. You know what I mean? Like sometimes in our youth. In some of the exploitation films and definitely like things like ECW and stuff like that I loved at a certain point in my life. I didn't know I had to defend them. But, even liking what you like as a more like enlightened, like, I hope they never make a Conan film in 2018 because Conan's not a 2018 type of character.
Yeah.
So like, but this is one of those rare cases where I feel like
Rage House on the foot.
yeah, and it's not too different than the argument that came up about the Christmas movie we watched there, right?
Better watch out.
Red Christmas?
Better Watch Out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Red Christmas was a confused little macadamia. But like the filmmaker was aware that they were showing you stuff that you didn't want to see and showing you stuff that is risky proposition in 2018 and forward. But as the magazine said, in a post-Weinstein world, in a post-Trump world, and but it's all about the journey here. I think that anything changed in either direction would have fucked up this film entirely. This is a movie that lives and dies by incredible moderation. In the sense where if you did see her nude at one point, I think it might have swung the pendulum in another way. If you didn't have, if you crossed, this reminded me a lot of Inside, the original one.
Yeah.
But if you cross that line, you know what I mean? Like, it might have gone a different way. It might have been too cartoony. Like, there's a lot of, like, this was a balancing act here in really end. And
Yeah.
we talked specifically about the magic trick of that this managed to correct all the things that were bad about a lot of things of this genre, but didn't erase it. It didn't, like, you still did have the almost homage of the very least the cover of that film, through the majority of this film as far as what her left attire was. But this is all about the transformation, right down to the fact that she started as this, like, her aesthetic was built to be this perfect angelic thing, right?
Yep.
And then by the end of it, she's super tan from being in the sun. Her hair is dirty and bloody, so it's a different color.
Yeah.
Like, she's totally transformed.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
absolutely, yeah.
Like, there is a way to do that is dumb, and that wasn't how they did it here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they went right to the precipice of that. They went right to the precipice of everything and balanced brilliantly. Like, I think that this is, like, a really great film, and I think I mentioned the two places that I thought it failed, and it was just dumb. Like, they didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't affect my thing, but I was like, I don't need that.
Well, see, I think this movie moved too quickly at part. Not necessarily the speed of the movie, the speed of the characters, with a lot of things.
How do you mean?
Like her handling a gun. Obviously, she's never handled a gun before in her life.
Sure.
First time she fires that gun, that would be exactly what would happen to someone who's never fired a gun, never was taught anything about a gun. That's exactly what would happen.
It was handled.
But the next time she fires a gun, all of a sudden she's an expert.
Well, look at
I never saw her as an expert in this.
But
she went from one extreme to the other.
But
like,
look at what part of the film she fired it a second time.
But and what about the gun that she used? Like, is that something that's easy to be accurate with?
No,
I'm not talking
it's got
about
a
accuracy.
huge ass sight on it.
No. I'm not talking about accuracy. I'm talking about being able to
Operation.
handle
Just being able to operate it.
firearm.
But
that is a high-powered shotgun.
Oh yeah. It definitely is.
But she came out of the cave as, like, maybe it wasn't as heavy-handed as I thought it was. She came out of the cave a different person.
both times she fired that gun, she was out of that cave.
Right. Well, no, the first time didn't you fire it in the lake and fuck it up?
She fired that gun.
Right.
And then,
didn't have any bullets.
Then in movie time, 2-3 minutes later, she fired it again and handled it like an expert.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
just
that stuff doesn't bother me. It's a movie, you know.
Well, that's just one
at least
little
it's
thing
not
about
Walking Dead where they're headshotting.
Yeah.
You know, the first time they pick up a gun.
Without, I do. I mean, if you want to be super
All right,
technical,
but-
without training, I feel like the kickback of that gun, like, would have flown, like, would have been like she got shot by it.
Which is exactly what happened the first time she fired that gun.
Right.
It put her on her ass and would put anyone in this room on their ass if they didn't know what they were doing with that gun.
But
Don't give me that look.
No,
Just-
I was,
just
I
to-
wasn't.
Just to piggyback on what you're saying, now, Wolfie, you said that you don't have a problem with that aspect of it.
No.
Now, what
I like
now
that they
this is
showed
just-
one shot where she saw the ramifications of never handling it before,
Right.
and then after that, I was fine. I don't need to see that every time.
Okay, well, this is the part that I this is just an observation. I have, just something that hit my head. Now, how come it's okay to have I don't know if you want to use I don't know if this is the right term, the accuracy or the, I guess the accuracy of it, of the attack on her physically and sexually, done well,
Please
shot well.
don't go where I think you're going.
What?
Go,
You
keep
are
going.
such a baby. God.
I got nothing this time around.
But yet, and we can have that done, to the point where we get what's going on and it's brutal. But yet we can pass by the part where where we give it a pass where she gets her revenge on these guys.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm actually not quite sure I understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
That
I thought you were.
it's
going
okay that we can have the rape scene, be
Subtle?
No. To be
Tasteful?
No, to be as brutal as it is, and we can accept that. But when it comes to her revenge on her attackers, the idea of her being able to handle a gun after one shot, which isn't realistically possible according to Ares, that gets a pass. I don't understand that.
I don't,
well,
I
if
don't
I could
understand
just-
how the two things that are have anything
Yeah,
to do
they're
with each other.
diametrically opposed. They're not
Yeah.
like the same.
But it's like you said, it's a movie. So why is it okay for the attack on her to be okay, but
I'm just making sure you're not having a stroke.
but the revenge, but her revenge on it does not.
Do you smell toast? I just want to address something that was mentioned in the chat room. I don't want to mention real names or fake names because I don't know. I'm assuming she never handled a shotgun because you see her trying to figure out how to operate it in the cave.
Yeah, and actually, the director in the interview I heard said that she did try to address that because Jen had never handled a gun before. That is, the director said that she had never handled a gun before.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just got that feeling from her messing around
Yeah,
with it, keep on
exactly,
loading it,
yeah.
and clearing it in the cave.
Yep. Yeah, and that's I think that's a safe bet, and I think they wanted to make sure that you understood that. So,
But I mean,
Spider was-
even these scenes. I mean, the way she's handling this weapon in this tight. She's handling a shotgun in tight quarters the way someone in SWAT would. Dropping it on corners. Fully pulling it back up.
I've seen movies. I'd probably do that too.
Yeah, I played guns.
I played video
Oh
games.
yeah, oh god. But I mean, that's just that's one of my little nitpicks
Guys, that
with
spider
this.
was
the,
brown, right?
The what?
That spider was brown that got peed on, right?
It was tan.
It was
Yeah.
a brown recluse.
So I think.
Why is there one in here?
I feel like
Is it
creepy
crawling
girl
up your
is
leg?
just contradicting everything we say in the chat. Like it's already, that spider was
Well,
black.
I
that spider
often
was
have
not
a-
black.
I have a theory about
tan
this guy.
brown.
I have a theory about Richard that he was a military guy or at least he was in the police, because
He was
the
too
way
rich
he
to be in
handles
the fucking police,
handles
dude.
the rifle in his hand. Notice how he has his finger off the trigger.
Maybe he went in the cave too.
Oh, that's
a hunter's
that's,
thing,
That's
dude.
a hunter's thing.
Yeah.
Because
they are hunters.
They are hunters. I don't believe he had any kind of training because he did not go out into the wilderness prepared for wilderness.
Yeah.
He dressed like he was going for a motorcycle ride in the streets of New York.
And as somebody who has, and I know Aries probably does too, has some I'm sure everybody to a degree does, has some friends that are policemen and were in the military. Like, they don't live in fucking island helicopter accessible chateaus. Like,
but I mean, the gun thing, that was one of my little nitpicks. My biggest nitpick with this is apparently they had a big budget for blood in this movie. Because my
90% of the budget is blood.
well, that's a French thing.
Yeah, it is a kind of a French flourish. And this, so I did hear the film was made for 2 million euros, which
and 1 million was blood.
Yeah, which translates to about American dollars, about just under 2.4 million. So, for
not a bad job for a low budget flick.
Yeah. And yes, this is absolutely, as Mars said, like, you guys remember Inside, the French version.
Yeah.
All the fucking blood in that. That is that's a French kind of thing,
Yeah,
there is way too much blood in this. Like, people would be dead. So it's just kind of like a flourish of,
Especially being dehydrated like they all were.
Yeah.
I just rewatched the masterful High Tension recently with the best movie ever with the worst
ending.
of
Yeah.
all time.
Take the last 5-10 minutes out and it's perfect.
And I had forgot how much blood was even in fucking that.
Yeah,
Like, it's just,
yeah.
it's a.
Well, let's hope this doesn't a second resurgence of the French gore film.
French extremity.
Yeah.
Flicks. Yeah, maybe. So we didn't really talk too much about the technical aspects, and I just want to mention them before we start to wrap up. But I thought the sound design in this was fucking great. There's some scenes where it is just so well done. I really enjoyed the score, and this film looks amazing.
The score kind of annoyed me a bit.
Fucking loved it.
I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the score was perfect. For
I
this
think the film looks gorgeous. Like, the way some of the desert scenes are shot. Like,
Oh
this
yeah,
is
the
a
cinematography
gorgeous film.
is incredible.
I mean, like this shot.
Like
with
this
the,
here, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This shot, even with the sound design there, like, we're getting her perspective, and we're seeing blood run down her eye.
I mean, granted, it doesn't match when
Yeah.
they show the exterior.
If anybody wants to know what I think, like, the boiled down synthesis of the inside of my brain looks like and sounds like, there's a motorcycle scene in this film shot tight with the music the way it is. Like,
I know exactly which one. The close up of the yeah. It was like dun 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 dun.
I had to
dun,
double
dun.
check and make sure it wasn't made by the Beyond the Black Rainbow guy, because
Yeah.
it's like I thought like
It was a great scene, yeah.
I thought the score was
I
incredible.
forgot
in
about that.
this.
I forgot about that score. I was thinking more of like the score during the chase scene at the end here. That was kind of annoying.
The other thing was, I also love, there's some great tracking shots in this where the camera just follows third person, like, especially right before here when Richard takes the shower and then he gets out to kind of like go through the house looking, with the gun up. Like, I just thought that was really
I
really
like
cool.
the forgive me, I don't know the terminology. They're following him, but they're following him from in front.
Yeah.
It's not tracking. Tracking would be from behind.
Well, I think it's
There'd
for
still
many,
be that.
it's
Oh, okay.
following is kind of a tracking
Yeah.
shot.
Well, yeah. The camera in front of them showing them.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
There was just really cool, some really great camera work.
Jesus.
There was one last. There's one last kind of obtrusively heavy-handed visual metaphor here, where he's kind of walking with the gun across his peen. At one point, I was just kind of like,
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
that
there
was fine, though.
Well, towards the end of this, because he's spending a lot of time naked. There is some forced. Some
The
force.
Force Awakens.
Some force. God,
My
damn it.
Force awakened when he was
Take
walking
that,
around
take
naked.
that.
Yeah. Shots of him like really just trying to hide himself, especially the money shot of it all.
Yeah, he's not at full power. He's running.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
no,
I mean,
no,
like-
but I mean, he's just. the money shot of the whole thing. He just
There's scorpions out there in the
Yeah.
desert.
Yeah,
I love that last
one
shot.
thing I thought of is I would never be able to do male
is
nudity.
run around.
I could run around.
We've all seen you fucking naked.
Yeah, I know, but I'm a grower, not a
Yeah,
shower.
but
so
it'd be
I'm
like Peter Griffin. You can just show because the stomach just hangs right over.
Listen, I'm going to get skinny. You're not going to get any younger.
Oh,
Neither are you.
Yeah. I hate to rain in their parade, but you're older than me.
Yeah, but I think your habits are actually way worse than mine. So
What habits are those?
smoking,
Okay.
whiskey.
Well, I'm not giving up whiskey. but okay, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna say it right here on the air right
All
now.
right, well, Johnny, go
tomorrow,
next.
tomorrow, I am planning on trying to quit smoking.
Nice. Okay, good.
really?
Boo.
Don't boo that. Don't boo that, man.
Shut up!
Don't
man.
boo that,
What are
man.
you saying that for?
So I will have another cigarette with the next break, and I'll have a cigarette on my ride home,
Oh,
and with any hope of a dream,
Wow.
I will not be a smoker next week.
Nice.
Aries, program yourself. Program. No smoking.
Michael Raven
N-O-S-M-O-K-I-N-G. No
So,
smoking.
are you gonna quit soda?
What part of I'm trying to kill myself is Chinese to you?
Well, maybe you should take up smoking.
No, it's
You're trying to
gross.
lose weight. Quit the soda.
Do more coke.
Yeah.
Do actual coke.
Yeah, I'll get some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Michael Raven Shadow will be the only one. I think the Screamsters and Grandizer Funk still use cancer sticks, but I was gonna say you'd be the only one all the way up and down who's smoking. We kind of kept that rule because of Aries, so it was the only thing.
Yeah, because no one was brave enough to tell me to stop smoking.
Well, no, every time we brought it up, we'd be like, "Wow, now that Ethan McGloofovitz is gone, we should have a no smoking involved in the Deadites at all rule." And then we're like, "What about Aries?"
You know what the irony
everyone's
thing
too
about
scared
this
to tell me. Yeah.
movie is, Wolfie?
No, we would have missed you.
What?
Is I mean, you got Matilda Lutz here.
Yeah.
I mean, and she's playing in a powerful female role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking at her IMDb, and her full name is Matilda Anna Ingrid Lutz.
Yeah.
And you take the initials of that, M-A-I-L, male. Just the irony of it all. I mean, it's a misspelling of male, but you know what I'm saying.
You got mail.
Just
All right,
just an ironic observation. That's
And
all.
you would be the one to find it.
Thank you.
Though that's like Alanis Morissette irony, not actual irony.
And I love the tension in that final showdown. I thought that it was a good use of space in the house to build the tension. I just thought that was a good ending. I think the very very end, when the last person dies, I think could have been more impactful. It seemed like it maybe didn't have as much impact as it should have. That's one of my
a little
only
underwhelming.
complaints.
I thought the same thing,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking, you
I
know
would
what?
have liked to have heard it was said something.
Yes, or something more personal, like a kind of a more personal way of killing the person. You know.
Oh, is that a
No,
French thing?
Maybe
I'm happy with the way it ended.
Maybe if the shot was a little lower, maybe like
I actually
8 inches lower.
I actually love that though because they had that brief moment.
Right?
They had that exchange.
Yeah.
That one final look at each other before it's.
I mean, that
over
was
and done.
cool. I guess as far as gratuitous gore, I would have liked something different. But I mean, if that's my only complaint, like
How much more do you want?
Brother was already so fucking saran wrapped.
she did. Yeah.
How
did
much
that.
more do you want? Jesus.
And this is fucking this asshole saying it.
Exactly. What's the matter with? What's the matter with you? What's the matter with me?
All right. So before we head to a verdict, I just want to read once again from that Screen Crush review that I read from Britt Hayes. I really liked, and she had I just want to read some of her words. This is a little bit longer. She says she was referring to basically the thing I read earlier about the gem and a a feminine apparition in a misogynistic wasteland. Anyway, she says. These descriptions do little justice to Farge's film, which escalates to a blood-drenched finale that rivals its most extreme French horror peers. And yet, there's an absurdity to this confrontation and the futility of Richard's relentless efforts to force Jen to submit to her assigned role. The experience of revenge is similar to watching Patty Jenkins's Wonder Woman, which showed audiences what it was like to see a superhero movie through the female gaze. though some of its cinematic subtleties and narrative nuance will inevitably be lost on male viewers. Revenge offers us the distinct privilege to see a rape revenge film from a true female perspective. Jen's conversion of trauma into strength is a different kind of superhero story where power is found in survival, not vengeance. An invaluably instructive parable for the modern age. So I thought that was worth reading and probably summed up way better than I could say it. So
Now, did T-Dog watch this?
she did not. No.
No.
Like I said, we didn't have time, and that's why I had to watch it today at work because the week got away from me. So
Yeah.
all right. So anyone else have anything to add before we head to verdict on this one? No. I think we said a lot. So let's go to the verdict.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, verdict time. We're going to let you know whether this flick was a trick or a treat and any final thoughts we may have. So, Raven Shadow, based on what you saw, I fast forward a couple bits because I wanted you to see the
High spots.
The high spots, essentially, yeah. So, I don't know. What did you think of what you saw in the discussion?
No, I dug it, and I mean it was subtitles, so I was able to read it well. You know what I mean? No, I dug it, and I definitely thought there would have been worse scenes, like we talked about earlier. But that was the best way you could do that kind of scene and still have the impact of what was going on.
Yeah,
you know, those guys are a bunch of douchebags. But no, I liked it.
Cool.
So what can you call it?
You can rate it if you want.
On the spot treat.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, Aries.
I'm not overall a fan of the rape revenge films because I'm not a fan of rape, even though you get the revenge aspect of it and the outcome. But
yeah,
I find it very difficult to watch rape on movies, even though it is fake, but it is still rape. But this movie, I do feel it is a good movie. I feel it was a little over the top, as I've said some of my problems with it. I feel this was
loser takes a fall. Sorry, I'm singing the over the top theme.
Yeah. Okay. Good that you know that. You want to
I'm
blow
a
your nose
big-
right into the mic?
I'm a big fan of the arm wrestling revenge, John.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I do feel this movie was a little bit over the top. I feel this was a female director trying to cater too much to a male audience, with a lot of the gore being a little too over the top. Because I have a problem with the suspension of disbelief with it, that a lot of wounds should have been fatal.
I think, and sorry to interrupt, but I think that's like saying that only men appreciate that kind of film. I think that's wrong to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm being sexist. I don't know.
You are sexist.
I will.
You are sexy.
I am very sexist. Yes.
Well, what's wrong with being
I feel
sexist?
just, for the most part, men look for that more so than women. And I do. Maybe it's another sexist thought. I do feel a female director would cater more towards that. That's what she would think. This is what my male audience would want. They would want a lot of blood. They would want a lot of gore, rather than just a grazing wound. This will be, a sucking chest wound, but the person will get up and walk away from it. I just feel that a lot of this, the story could have held up with a lot of grazes or, not fatal wounds. Wounds that should have been fatal, that someone shouldn't have walked away from. They shouldn't have let a trail of 10 gallons of blood over the course of 100 yards.
I think it was just like, not to sound dismissive of the genre or you, but I think it was just French. Like, I think it just comes from. It's like when we watch when we watch Blade of the Immortal, it'd be like saying that half those guys didn't need to get both arms and their head cut off before they died.
Well, I mean that's a different type of movie.
Like, for instance, Creepy Girl in the chat room just says, "I love gore."
I love gore too,
that's one woman. But
there's
I did 76 issues of a podcast
There's
with a gorehound.
a time and a place for it. I don't think this movie should have been that time and place.
But I think it was to underscore just kind of the importance of what was happening in this. And also, like Mars said, it's a very French thing, too.
Yeah.
I also thought it brought forward the fucking... I also thought that even though it could easily be put as just a French thing, and it very well may have been, I also think that it... I'll wait till my turn.
Yeah. Thank you. That's a first. No, I just feel, I feel it just took away from the story aspect of it just a little bit. And I did have one crap. See, you interrupted me. I had another thought.
Spider-Man flip at me.
And now it's gone. Yeah, it's gone. So, all in all, it is a treat. It's a very gory story. So if you're just looking for a simple rape revenge,
Fun loving.
yeah, a fun loving rape revenge. No,
Yeah.
This is a gory rape revenge. But no, check this movie out. This is definitely worth the watch. It is a treat.
How about that?
All right. MZ.
I dug this quite a bit. This was a brutal, very taut thriller. Expertly done, and I thought the editing was really, really well done. We didn't talk about the editing. I thought the editing in this movie was sublime. And
Yeah,
kudos.
Technically, it was pretty flawless.
Yeah.
The editing don't care when his dog runs away. Check it even at the bills it has to pay. Editing doesn't get mad with dad's on rocks. Sorry.
And kudos for Matilda Lutz to be doing this a grand majority of this film barefoot too.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I mean, to be running on rocks and things like that, and on dirt, and just gravel and shit like that. I mean, that's got to be pretty rough. So
She suffered for her art.
She did suffer for her art. I truly believe that, and very well paced, and I enjoyed this one quite a bit, especially the revenge part of it. I think the attacks were pretty. The attacks on her were very well done, tastefully done, about as tasteful as you could possibly make it. Right. And yeah, definitely, if this was a guy directing this film, it would be very, very different, and it would not be anywhere near as good. This is a high tier treat, no doubt.
Marsman.
I just wanted. Normally, I would just say treat or my rating treat of the highest order. But one thing we didn't get to talk about in the review that Aries reminded me of, I think that though the violence in this is very French, and though I think it is to, like Wolfie also said, to underscore the severity of some of the stuff, I feel like another thing it does is the outrageousness of the violence and the way it's portrayed, and it's kind of an interesting parable to the fucking nuts world we live in regards to the politics of sex right now, and specifically sexual predators. Like, there is a fucking monster as the president right now. It's not even fucking it's like on film. Like, not even like blurry fucking Bigfoot footage film. Like, it's on fucking film. Like, and like this, like Weinstein was able to fucking control most of Hollywood with his cock for years. Like, it's like a fucking crazy house. It's like a funhouse mirror that we live in for real. And the best art in multiple ways show us our world in a way that is so distorted we barely recognize it. But when it's the best, we're able to just at one point, just at a glance, look at it the right way, that we see that we're really looking at ourselves in a weird way. And I think that this film did this in an incredible way, and I think it's a treat of the highest order.
All right. And for me, to call this film like part of the rape revenge subgenre seems to kind of limit what it is. And I think it absolutely transcends that subgenre, and it feels important. Yes, Michael Ravenshadow, I said important.
Oh, it's important.
I think the main difference here is that this film is told from a female perspective, which makes a world of difference. There was a lot of great symbolism in this film, especially the cave scene, obviously I had mentioned. And just technically, this film is almost flawless. There was so many good things done. MZ had mentioned the editing, the way it's shot, the score, the sound editing. It's so well performed, and that really just heightens it. It already would have been a good movie, but with that, it raises it up a couple pegs. And this film was also brutal, but I think it had to be, as we sort of talked about. Mm-hmm. It was intense, incredibly well made, well paced, with some absolutely phenomenal gore. I was kind of blown away by this, honestly, and this is definitely a big time treat for me as well. And I think that Coralie Farge is potentially a force to be reckoned with in this. Hopefully, I mean, I don't, hopefully, I was gonna say hopefully she continues to do genre films, but if she wants to do whatever she wants, I mean, she can do that. But I think that this is a very powerful story when told this way, using some of the tropes and kind of subverting them a little bit. And I think it made it even more powerful. So I'm super excited to see what else she's going to do.
Yeah. Believe the hype. This is a good movie.
Yeah. This
is good.
I'm kind of bummed out I didn't get a chance to see it at the Boston Underground Film Fest. I just wasn't able to attend the day it played, but I heard a lot of good coming out of that. And, I knew that we had to check it out. So big shout out to Neon, who distributed this flick, because they were able to get us to see it a little bit early. Obviously, it's out on VOD now, but they were awesome in getting us a screener of this. And also we mentioned last week that the marketing campaign of this is pretty fucking great with that trailer that they put out. The one that MZ was glad that there are male chauvinists out there.
Thank God.
You know what I mean, for Christ's sake, you asshole.
Thank God those guys exist.
But yeah, you guys. I think you got to check this out. It like I said, it is available on Amazon right now. We'll go ahead and put it on our Amazon store. If you want to go to Amazon.com/shop/The Deadites, it'll be available on there to purchase, so you can rent it or buy it. And it will be on Shudder in September. So if you're patient and you have a Shudder account, you want to wait, it'll be available on Shudder in September. And I hope people check this out. And this is one that I'd love for people to let us know what you think. If you get a chance to check this out, let us know what you think. Send in a voicemail anytime, podcast@trickortreatradio.com. I'd love to hear it. So next week, we are going to do a film called Feral. And this is another IFC Midnight joint. And we're going to get a chance to check it a little early, but it'll be coming out on May 25th. So that is a week from Friday. So we'll be reviewing it 2 days before it comes out. So unfortunately, you guys won't be able to play along at home with this one. But once again, we're able to get a screener of this from IFC Midnight. So we're going to be checking out Feral. And it sounds interesting. There's a very brief synopsis. It says students fight to survive a weekend in the woods. But
sounds original.
There's a lot more to it than that. I don't know why they have that as the synopsis. It actually probably does it a disservice. But this film also features Lou Temple from
nice.
Walking Dead, Scout Taylor Compton,
nice,
and Olivia Lucardi. I'm not familiar with Olivia.
Olivia
or Scout Taylor Compton.
I think Scout Taylor Compton is a great actress.
Oh, Olivia was in It Follows.
Yeah.
That's where I heard that.
Maybe not the best movie, but I think her role in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 was a fucking tour de force.
And she was in The Runaways.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
She played Lita. Oh, okay. Awesome. She played Lita Ford in The Runaways movie. So yeah, I'm excited to see this. So we're going to check out Feral next week. Once again, like I said, you guys will unfortunately not be able to see it, but it will be available the day episode 304 drops on the podcast. So a week from Friday on the 25th. So there you go. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, wrap things up, play a couple voicemails, and talk about our favorite revenge films. So we'll be back in how long, MZ?
Oh, we'll be back in 2 and 2.
The following message is a paid advertisement for the Cult of Muscle podcast. The Cult of Muscle. You're either in it or you're dead.
It's the dawning of a new age. The halls of Valhalla have been shuttered. The heroes of yore have either retreated to the shadows or taken to capering for the amusement of the small folk. Their past glory is a distant memory. The barbells have been torn from their once puma-strong grips, the beards shorn from their square jaws, only to be transplanted onto flannel-clad, puny weaklings with fingers barely powerful enough to strum a ukulele. The time has come, my brothers, to restore order from the chaos. No longer will our heroes be forgotten. No longer will their great deeds be viewed through a foggy lens of irony. Hear now our rallying cry as we scream it from the mountaintops, as we bellow it from iTunes and Libsyn and Facebook. It's time to join the cult, my brothers. So don your cloaks and enter the cult of muscle.
I'm Alex West.
And I'm Andrea Subasati, and we're from the Faculty of Horror podcast.
And you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
Do you seek logic in an illogical world? Does your mind seek the knowledge of the universe and its relevance to society? Does your soul require a depth rarely found in the existence currently available to humankind?
Here you laddie, where you going with that tatties? Get over here, son, I'll break your fucking arse, son, come here!
Then keep looking, because Stascast isn't for you.
Can't see this, folks, but what I did was, just in preparation of this discussion, I just went through
You fucking prepared?
Stascast does, however, bring you conversation from professional non-professionals about music, film, television, technology, society, in existence as a whole or in pieces.
Finally, we got to the point of this podcast.
Yeah, I'm like, we will always gravitate back to the anus. It is our home point, from which all humor in this podcast will be generated.
Jump into the conversation on Facebook at facebook.com/Stascast.
Not a comedy podcast. This is a really badly organized intervention.
You can also find Stascast at Stitcher Radio and on iTunes.
It's all serious talk about stupid shit.
You know, if you've got the kettle flax around your neck and you're about to kick the stool from underneath you, you know what? Why not look it up beforehand?
We are back, MZ.
What a time we had reviewing that film, huh? Jesus.
Yeah, we talked about it for like 90 minutes.
Damn. Well, there was a lot to talk about.
Yeah, it was a lot to unpack, and I, literally all day I was excited to just talk about it because it was an impressive film.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I definitely have to say I'm looking forward to her next project.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does she have anything listed at all? I didn't check.
I didn't see. Yeah, last thing she has is Revenge, so she has nothing that's in pre-production or anything like that.
Okay, well, she's for a first-time director for a feature film, this has got to be up there with one of the best that we've seen.
I would imagine that after people get a chance to see this, that she'll probably have something soon.
I hope so. This was highly impressive, and like I said, the hype is real. It was definitely hunt it down.
Well written too,
right?
So for a first time, screenwriter, she wrote. So she has a short called Reality Plus,
mm-hmm.
and I believe it's online. There's a trailer for it. I think it's on Amazon Instant. Yeah, it looks like it's on Amazon Instant. So Yeah, you can watch with Prime. That's cool.
Oh, cool.
So
All right.
it's 22 minutes.
All right.
So if anyone out there has Amazon Prime, maybe I'll see if I can add that to. Let me see if I can add that to the store. I don't know if I can or not, but yeah. So it is available on Amazon Prime. If you guys have that, you can check out Reality Plus. That's Reality with the plus sign. And that was her first short. It was for like a contest. I remember she talked a little bit about it, and I think she won some contests to be able to make it, and she got like a pretty good budget. I want to say like 200,000 euros, which is probably about, I don't know, probably close to 250 American dollars, 250,000 that is. So I'm sure, there's a pretty good budget to work with for a short. So be curious to check that out.
Well, her earlier stuff must be worth something if she's able to get people to cough up $250,000.
Well, she won some sort of contest to do
Yeah.
that one, so I don't know like what the deal with that was, but all right. So we have a few voicemails to get to. We have 3, so a little bit light this week, but I guess what we'll do is we'll go around and talk about our favorite revenge films and
Say goodbye.
And what?
When we say goodbye?
No, we'll do it now.
Okay.
We have 3 voicemails. So, does anyone want to go first?
I will.
All right, MZ, go for it.
Okay, well, you guys know me.
I spit on your grave.
That'll do it. Yeah. That movie has such a ferocious attitude. It's.
Do you think? It's hard to actually.
No, go ahead.
Say your okay. Do you think? I don't know when the last time you saw it was, but do you think it's sexist or chauvinistic? Now that you watch it kind of with a different lens, because back then, in the 70s, that people didn't really even bat an eye at stuff
70s,
like that.
80s, hell, even the 90s.
I think it is worth mentioning that's different than a lot of the trash that is the rape revenge films. And
Yeah.
I do think that there was a point to the ludicrousness of what happened in that film, but it's just so hard to watch. It's hard, and it also can only be watched, I'm sure MZ would agree, through the lens of seeing all this other crap that imitated it and tried to one-up it and was doing it for the more salacious elements of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I even think Last House on the Left is kind of fucking trash. So,
Just not a good movie, you mean?
Yeah. So, I do think it's different. I think that it would be...
Well, I think I Spit on Your Grave, I think, is the apex of the subgenre known as the rape revenge film.
I almost don't think it's that. Somebody, Cecil, I think in the chat room, almost said that even though it kind of launched that, I think that it's more than that.
I don't know, man. I really dig the movie because it's... Is honest the right word for it, though? I mean, it was supposedly based on a true story. And according to this story that director Miyazaki was a part of, he just embellished the nasty parts and just created a new movie around it. But I don't know if honesty. So I don't know if honesty is the right word for a film like this.
I think it's almost the reverse of honest.
Yeah,
Dishonest. I think it's there's something almost like dreamlike, nightmare-like about that film that it almost has kind of a weird. It has the stark, almost newsreel eye, like something like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But there's also something just so fuzzy about it in its logic too.
And there's going to be the sequel coming out very soon too. The legit sequel to I Spit on Your Grave. And Camille Keaton is reprising her role as Jennifer Hills. So
interesting. I didn't hear about that.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And
that's what we call in the biz a cash grab.
Yeah. I agree.
Who's directing it?
Oh God.
Oh yeah. Okay, so it's called "I Spit in Your Grave, Deja Vu."
Oh really? That's not the real
That's
title,
kind
is
of a shitty title, I gotta say. Oh man.
I Spit on Your
It's in post production, so it's filmed.
Deja Vu Boogaloo.
I Spit in Your Grave again.
Yeah.
Still spitting.
Yeah,
After
yeah,
all
it's,
these
yeah.
It's
It's already been filmed.
Wow.
That
Okay.
could
Yeah,
be
it's
the
already
worst
been
title
filmed.
ever.
Yeah, this is the real deal. So I can't imagine Camille Keaton put herself through that again. So
Well,
it's got to be.
I can't imagine she does. I'm looking, and there's a young actress who is top billed. So
Okay.
I imagine it's happened to someone else, and yeah.
So, but the stark brutality of the original "I Spit on Your Grave," the fact that there's virtually no soundtrack, just adds to the dire situation that you find Jennifer Hill's in. Because in a situation like that, you wouldn't hear any music. So why would the viewer? And a lot of people complain about the performances. I think the performances are actually quite good. Frightening, in fact. But if you have not seen "I Spit on Your Grave,"
Don't recommend I Spit on Your Grave.
huh?
Don't
recommend "I Spit on Your Grave"?
No.
I'm going to recommend "I Spit on Your Grave."
He already did. It's too late.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't you go, Mars, then? If you can pick something else.
My go-to is a perfect film, but I think to kind of veer right, I'm going to pick a not perfect film, and that is Crippled Masters.
Yes. Oh, I love that movie.
Man, look at you.
That's exploitation too.
Yeah. Good pick.
Do you want to tell people about it if they haven't seen it?
No, look it up. I think you owe yourself a.
Yeah.
Yeah, just watch the trailer. You'll love it.
Yeah.
I'm not recommending Crippled Masters either.
You're not recommending it? That's
No,
your.
don't watch that. But it is. You asked what my favorite revenge film was. I'm not gonna make somebody else. Yeah, no, it's not good.
All right.
Bad. It's worse. Like it's worse than the Wang Wang. It's bad.
Interesting. Okay. Aries or Raven Shadow? You guys got one queued up?
Yeah, per usual, I'm gonna go and stretch the boundaries of this little. Yeah.
That's what the boundaries are for.
Boundaries
Aries.
will be broken. I'm gonna go with The Professional.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna go with another one, but yeah.
What did you think?
Well, I'm gonna use it.
Okay. Because I did have
unless someone else takes it.
All right. Well,
I had a couple, so that's why I was. But I just think that's the perfect revenge movie. Anyone who hasn't seen it, I highly recommend it. It is probably 20 years old at this point, but
Jesus,
I would.
94.
Really, you remember the year it came out?
Well,
no, I think in '95 actually.
Maybe.
Raven Shadow was right last week about a couple things.
Yeah. See.
What year did you say, Raven Shadow?
94.
You're right.
Bombalay.
Okay, what does it give the month? I'm just curious.
It was
I want to
summer.
see if I'm close.
It was summer.
close.
November '94.
It was a warm November. An unseasonably warm
It was
November.
released in Florida, Texas, and California.
Yeah.
Will you say your pick? I'm suffocating.
Wait, I thought Aries was still going.
Yes.
I thought he was.
Sorry.
Why are you suffocating? What's going on?
I don't know why, but I am.
Suffocating?
He's wearing that plastic mask.
You wearing the Mars mask?
Yeah.
What do you mean Mars mask?
We haven't heard from the Mars in a while.
No, I'm.
Oh, he's done. Okay, Raven
yeah,
Shadow.
I'm
I'll
done.
I'll let you.
I want to know how Mars is suffocating.
Look at my eyes.
Look into my
Look into my eyes.
Look into my eyes. Isn't that a song?
Look in my bright eyes. What do you see?
The cult of poop and pee.
No, his eyes are filled with Twizzlers and Dr. Pepper.
Fine, I was gonna stop, but
No. He's getting more soda.
And he's the one who calls me sensitive.
All right, Raven
Goes to-
Shadow.
all right. I'm not going to pick Johnny's because I think I know
No,
what it is.
I got another one. So
Well, I got another one.
then,
Oh my God.
then do both.
Just say it.
I'll pick both of yours. What? No.
Go ahead.
No, listen, it's a new movie, but I don't give a fuck. Listen, John Wick, all right? Russian
Oh, okay.
gangsters.
I wasn't gonna take that, but
Russian gangsters kill his fucking dog and take his car. Fucking, I'm pissed off. That's a reason for fucking motivation for vengeance. And it's excellent.
No, I'm not knocking that movie, but as far as revenge goes, the dog, really? Like,
come
Yeah,
on,
well,
come on.
that's just like stretching the whole.
That's what would make me go on revenge.
Aside from my girlfriend, my dog is the next thing that will probably over you guys.
You know, that's part of the revenge. That's part of the
Okay, I
revenge.
see where I stand. Thank you.
You know, that's part of the revenge and thou shalt not kill except.
I'm
Oh, really? Well,
It's a dog.
with everything that's going on in my life. I'm most upset about my cat.
Okay.
we're sorry.
Just saying.
Yeah,
That makes sense. I'm with you.
So it makes total sense.
I know I want to say something, but I don't know what to say.
Last time you talked about my animals, I almost killed you for real. So I would shut up.
No, it would have been something touching because I like your cat.
I doubt it would. You would think it was touching, but it wouldn't come off that way.
Probably. You're probably right.
It would be stranger danger touching, not nice touching.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
All right, and the crow.
All right, that's what I thought you were going.
Yeah,
with.
I thought you were going with it. I was
No,
letting you have it.
I went with something else because I thought you were gonna go with it.
I had your back.
Well, for the record, that thought had crossed my mind as well.
So I think for all of us, we'll say
Yeah,
the
it's
crow
the crow,
combined,
right,
right?
right.
For all.
Well,
Okay.
there's one I didn't pick because I thought he was going to pick. One of these two was going to pick, and I didn't. So we'll see.
Well, I don't like double R shit. I'm not into that.
Double R.
Yeah, rape revenge.
Well, you can choose whatever. So for mine,
That's what I did.
I'm going to go with, once again, I think last time we did a question, I chose we did the streaming choices. I did a film that we reviewed. I'm also going to do that here. The film I'm going to pick for one of my favorite revenge movies is Blue Ruin.
Good one.
Remember that, Ray
Choice.
Shadow? We reviewed it.
That
Did
was
you
the-
watch that one?
I don't remember. That was during a time where my memory was hazy.
It was Macon Blair was the star, and he played a guy that was trying to get revenge, and he was really bad at it.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was like a Coen Brothers.
Great flick.
Yeah,
Switch
great
movie.
movie.
Great movie.
Kind of remember it.
You're not allowed to make year-end lists.
Well, I watched this year. I was going through. I had some
Quick, what was your number one film for last year?
kill.
Yeah.
Cry to Kill.
Okay.
Because that was the last one he watched. Remember?
Yeah, right? It was the last
No,
film
it was
we
a fucking amazing fucking movie. That and Cell Block 99.
Yeah, but you didn't mention Headshot at all,
Well,
which you would like doing cartwheels over.
Well, sometimes there were. Which one was Headshot again?
Exactly. One with Eco by the Mo Brothers.
Oh, I'm not saying there were sometimes last year the old habits died hard.
All right. Well, let's. What we'll do is let's go to the voicemail. Let's hear what some folks have to say, and then we'll come back and maybe do if they didn't get mentioned, maybe we'll do some real quick honorable mentions, and then we'll wrap things up.
Kill Bill, right? Like, can we?
Well, I was gonna. I
Oh.
assume someone might have said that. So
I just saved it for these two not to say it. So.
He did say we'll do honorable mentions. So drink your soda and shut your mouth.
I want to.
Whoa!
I just want to go home.
Someone's got us quitting smoking cranky already.
He hasn't even started, and he's cranky. All right. Well, let's hear from our boy.
20 minutes.
Evil Corny.
Hey guys, this is Evil Corny. My
Corny.
favorite revenge film is a Western that I grew up watching with my dad, and it's called Once Upon a Time in the West.
Oh,
It
yeah.
stars Charles Bronson and Henry Fonda. Charles Bronson plays a character named Harmonica, and he's after the man that killed his brother. And it's a Sergio Leone film, and it's one that I pretty much watch at least once or twice a year. It might be one of my favorite Westerns. Right behind the Wild Bunch. You all have a good one. Evil Corny out.
All right, Corny. Thanks, man.
I believe that's the one that was written by Dario Argento.
Oh, I think you're right. I'm almost positive that you're right.
Yeah.
I got some mentions.
Let's see. Once Upon a Time in the West? Why isn't that coming up? Come on, IMDb. IMADB.
Wasn't that also the title of the comedy with Seth MacFarlane?
That's a thousand ways to die in the
A
West.
Million Ways to Die in the
Oh,
West.
sorry.
No, my West. They stole that.
Funnier than it has any right to.
I've seen parts of it. It's funny.
While I'm thinking of it, Corny did another appearance on the Movie Massacre podcast. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, Dario Bernardo Bertolucci and Sergio Leone.
Yeah.
And Sergio Donati and Sergio Leone did the screenplay. So, yeah, based on a story that Dario helped pen.
And he's on Cabal Corner every week, too. It's
Sergio is?
No.
Sergio Leone? Holy shit.
Hey, it's a Cabal Corner.
I'd like to have Corny on the show.
Yeah.
I think the kid's fucking smart.
I want to have Corny in fucking New England.
Evil Corny?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. We got Tim from Oz is in the chat room.
Nice.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Cecil says, Once Upon a Time in the West is greater than Wild Bunch.
Wow.
Leanna says, Corny has a great voice.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let's not go too crazy, Cecil.
All right, let's hear from our boy David Guido, who started listening a couple weeks ago on the Fangoria episode. So let's hear from David.
Oh, wow.
So I was trying to watch Revenge on Shudder, and
I know, I'm sorry.
could not get it to load because it is not available through Shudder yet. So I could not watch the movie this week. So I was kind of disappointed in that. Although it looks really good, so when it does come out, I will be looking forward to it. I did pick up a Shudder subscription.
Nice.
To watch the movie, and a little disappointment in that. But also, I had a question. I want to know if you guys had any recommendations for any horror novels or books on Kindle to read.
Oh.
Something that would, be interesting. Anything you could recommend. I appreciate that very much. All right, guys, keep up the great work. Bye.
Thanks, David. I feel like I let you down, man, because like I mentioned earlier, all the promotional stuff I saw said Shudder, 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 Shudder. And like Aries said, it's possible that they decided to hold off on Shudder at the last minute, or I just was misreading the promotion. I don't know. But yeah, I apologize about that, buddy. I know you shelled out for the Shudder account, although I will say Shudder is well worth the price of admission for $5 a month. There's a ton of stuff on there. So hopefully you dig the service and wasn't money wasted. And as far as do you have anything in mind, Mars? I know you're probably the one who reads the most out of us, so
I do. Even though I haven't read a fucking book this year, I feel fairly useless. But I was looking for one in particular, and it doesn't seem like it's here, but
and most of the stuff that's probably out there is probably
perfect.
available on Kindle.
So I want to recommend to you, my friend, if you have not read them, 2 books by the amazing Brian Keene. Who has a great podcast, not the least of which is one of him and Golden there, the guy that works
Christopher Golden?
Yeah,
he's a local boy.
Yeah, works with Mingola and
you know what's funny about that, Mars? We asked Brian Keene to be on our podcast. He agreed. He had some there's some crazy stuff that happened in his life.
Right.
And then like a couple months later he had his own podcast.
Yeah. But
coincidence.
Yeah, well, one of his podcasts I listen to has nothing to do with horror. It's him talking about fucking Defenders issue by issue.
Oh yeah.
But the very fast and breezy and very fun book called Castaways. Imagine if Survivor happened on an island with diminutive cannibalistic Neanderthal people on it. How well that would turn
amazing.
out. Yeah, and that was really fun. What isn't fucking fun by any stretch of the imagination, in fact, Tiny got mad at me because I had him read it, is his take on the zombie genre called The Rising. They're actually more like Deadites. People get possessed by this evil, omnipresent entity, and that not just people, animals, babies. Anyone that dies for any reason becomes possessed by these things, and it's got all the most depressing parts of every zombie movie, including fucking swearing demon zombie babies that are trapped in car seats, and there's a fucking zombie lion. It's I didn't like it one bit. It scared the fucking shit out of me, and it was really splattery. And Brian Keene, in my opinion, is an underrated master. So. And it has an end that would rival the end of any of the Romero flicks in its both its cynicism and its abruptness. In fact, I would say, even though they didn't stick the landing, I feel like the people that made it paints the sands red or stains the sands red.
Yeah.
The last 10 minutes of that made me think that they had read a Brian Keene zombie book, and he also wrote a lot of great westerns. It looks like his entire bibliography is available here for in between $5 and $2 a read. So 8 is the most that I've seen any of these. So highest recommendations, it's definitely worth the price of admission.
Okay, it's weird. I was about to add those to our Amazon store, and for some reason it logged me into the Amazon.co.uk.
Yes.
I don't know how I fucking got to that site, but
well, if I could try to make a suggestion, just I forget the title of the book, and I don't even know if it's there. But the book, yeah, big help I am. The book that was sent to all of us. Someone help me out.
Oh, the
right
the
here.
Ghoulish Stories.
Yes.
I don't know if that's
Ghoulish-
on
yeah.
Kindle. But yeah, that's. I think it is on Amazon though.
Yeah, I don't know if it's on Kindle or not, but I highly recommend that. We haven't really talked about it that much.
It is on Kindle for $2.99.
It is.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put it on there then.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely check that one out.
Yeah, it's good.
Mars, what was the first Brian Keene book you mentioned?
I always get the name of his zombie books fucking messed up. Hold on a second.
I wrote it down actually. Castaways. Is that?
Oh, Castaway. Sorry, I was thinking of the Rising.
I got the Rising. Yeah.
Yeah. Castaways is. I mean, he has this fun side. He's made some pulp things and some more Western things, like Occurrence at Owlbear Lake is a good mixture of dark and fun. But when he fucking goes dark and evil and whatever else, like it's fucking. I feel like he might think he's fun, but it's really fucking dark. So.
All right, cool. So David, or just anyone else who is interested in checking these out, these recommendations, once again, I'm adding them to our Amazon store, amazon.com/shop/the Deadites. So they'll be up on there, and they should be up there now. So even if you're watching live, I believe you can check those out. So cool. So thank you for the voicemail, David. Hopefully those helped. And I guess if we think of any others, we'll certainly let you know in future episodes. And yep, he said thanks. Evil Corny says Point Blank is a good revenge film. Payback is a remake of it.
Okay. Yeah, those are Carter.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Not Carter.
Get Carter?
No.
Parker.
Parker. Thank you.
Is Gross Point Blank the sequel?
No, I don't think so. All right, we have one more voicemail, and this is from Leanna.
Hey.
Hi, everybody. So this week's theme is revenge films for the soon-to-be Shudder exclusive Revenge. I found it a bit hard to answer this, to be honest, because I have seen a lot of revenge films. The problem is that most of those revenge films are by Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but when that article came out about Uma Thurman talking about how she was horribly mistreated by the director on the set of Kill Bill, I felt very uncomfortable listing any of his movies. So the movies I want to select are going to be a bit more difficult for me to find. I really like The Crow. The Crow is a great revenge movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sad that the actor died on set, but it's great. I really like Old Boy, even though the twist is really fucked up.
Yes.
John Wick is a lot of fun.
There you go.
So there's that. And I also kind of consider Mad Max Fury Road to be a kind of revenge film. Most people say that for the first film, Mad Max, but to me, every motive in the movie can still be relegated to some form of revenge, but revenge against a powerful, authoritarian, and regressive figure. So I kind of count it. And besides, it's like, we just passed the Mad Max Fury Road anniversary, and we've got to mention it because it's so fucking awesome. So, those are my revenge films. I hope the movie was really, really good. I really want to see it, but apparently Shudder is not gonna bring it out till September.
Yeah, sorry about that.
In the meantime, I'm probably going to watch the film Prevenge about the pregnant lady, but I haven't seen it yet. I heard that it was really, really good. So catch you guys on the show, and hope you guys enjoyed tonight.
Thank you, Leanna.
Thank you,
and
Leanna.
yeah, we did check out
Yeah.
Revenge. I think we generally liked that one, right?
Yeah, I
A
loved
couple
it.
years ago, yeah.
No, it wasn't.
No, it
Or
wasn't
last year.
It
Oh,
was
no,
last
it
year,
was
yeah.
last year. It was last year, yeah.
Yeah.
Late last year. I didn't hear that Uma Thurman.
Yeah, I've heard that stuff too. It goes to that whole sort of art, the separating the art from the artist. Like, I don't know, like especially Hearsay.
Didn't they hang out for a long time
Well,
after? Too?
maybe
Like,
it's
that's
not.
what makes it
Maybe it's
weird.
not Hearsay. If it's from Uma, that's not Hearsay.
No,
but,
of course.
But
so I don't mean to diminish that, but it's hard to, I don't know what the situation is. It's one of those things that it's really difficult to form an opinion based on that, And if he was shitty to her on set, then that sucks. You know?
It is weird
Absolutely.
that he didn't work with her again when it seemed like she was kind of going to be his muse.
I thought he loved her.
Yeah, they dated for a while.
Yeah, he worshipped her.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, but that doesn't mean I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
Fair.
I don't treat anybody fucking good in the studio except Donna Matrix, who will flat out flatten me. So
Yeah. By the way, we talked about Prevenge on episode 254. If anyone,
yeah,
wants
I
to
really
check that
liked
out.
it. I thought that she did a terrific job.
It's interesting. Leanna says we were discussing a feminist take on rape revenge films, so it felt wrong to me personally to. I get that. I can
sure.
get that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I do I mean, taking that film just out of context, that is pretty close to a perfect film in my opinion. The one of 3 films that he made that hits that like A++
Yeah, it's
level for me.
And that was one that I remember you guys were shocked when you found out, but I hadn't seen Kill Bill Volume 1 or 2 until about 3 or 4 years ago.
We started doing the show for sure, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know why, I just hadn't seen them. And when T-Dog found out, she's like, okay, we're watching these. And I loved them. I assumed that I would, but I definitely really enjoyed them. So
Permission to change my my choice from My Spit on Your Grave to Old Boy, because I don't know how...
permission granted.
Thank you, because I don't know how the hell that slipped by my mind.
Well, that was...
That movie is a masterpiece.
I agree. That was one that I was going to mention in honorable mentions, because we have talked about Old Boy a lot in other, in sort of... It just comes up because it's a great fucking movie, so that's why I wanted to pick something else. But, yeah, it's amazing.
I think I'm going to turn off the internet.
Altogether?
Yeah, like I don't want to know, right? Like, because I think there's 2 elements to this. Like, when you find out things about creators you like, there is sadness and disappointment. But then there's the fucking peanut gallery who wants you to fucking just jettison that. It's like when Chris Benoit killed his family and all I was a Chris Benoit cover band when I wrestled. Like how do you compartmentalize that? Like it's, it's so weird. I just don't want to know anymore. I just want to fucking shut off and be able to absorb the art for the art's sake.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword because, maybe you don't want to support someone who's a complete scumbag, right? Like, I get what you're saying, but if you have the ability to find out if someone's a scumbag, you probably don't want to put money in their pocket. Like Victor Salva. I know there's a lot of blowback about Jeepers Creepers 3, and a lot of people didn't want to see it.
Yeah, no,
rightfully
get
so.
I had a fucking knife fight about Victor Salva with Dr. Chris because he tried to take me for task about watching it.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I know I have a listenership that now won't watch it because I said it was shitty. I took one for the team. That's more important than you just deciding that you're not going to watch it. Now, I watched it. It was fucking terrible. And now nobody needs to watch it.
Yep.
Not because he's a monster, because he made a fucking bad movie. So now the fucking ship's out. But, it is tough. Like, I think if Tarantino did turn out to be a fucking monster, I might not give him any more money.
Yeah.
But again, it's tough. Look at Frank Miller. Like, I've been carrying around that ball and chain for 12 years now. Like,
he gets crazier and crazier.
Yeah, how can you take the Frank Miller out of my work? You know what I mean? It's just so fucking tough. Like,
right.
It's so hard. Like, I don't want to know. Like, I think I often bring up that Benoit one because it's the most obvious. Like, this probably Ares is the only one here that didn't fucking suplex on their neck at some point. So, Like, you know, like it's and why is that? You know, like it wasn't because of fucking Carl Gotch. It was Dynamite Kitty, and it was because of Chris Benoit. You know.
All right, so that was all the voicemail. Some of the others that I just, obviously I looked up a list because I can't remember every fucking revenge movie. But Death Wish.
Yeah.
Memento is listed as a revenge movie.
Really?
That's interesting. I haven't seen
definitely
it in years.
Death Wish. All the Death Wish films.
I Saw the Devil. Speaking of...
Okay.
Yeah, that's a fucking...
God.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Lady Vengeance.
Yep.
Yeah, Raven Shadow.
How about Outlaw Josie Wales?
All right.
What about Revenge of the Nerds? Is that too lowbrow for this room?
I fucking love that movie. MZ knows the whole fucking rap.
Yeah.
Clap your hands,
Everybody,
clap
your
hands.
Everybody, clap your hands. We
Omega move.
Lambda, and Omega move. We're up here on stage tonight to do a show for you.
Early Deadites?
The early Deadites, yeah.
We got a rockin' rhythm and a high-tech sound, make you want to move your body down.
Oh, wait, let me
the
find a
ground.
better version.
I got it on my phone.
Oh, it's so good.
We got Booger Presley on the
beat. Those are our costumes for next year. Actually, Halloween.
Halloween, let's do this.
Falls on a Wednesday, I believe.
Who's gonna do? I can't remember his name. What's his name?
Poindexter.
Yeah, who's gonna do Poindexter?
He's my favorite.
Okay, you do Poindexter.
I don't know. I gotta have the hair to do that.
Oh, this is so good.
Booger.
Yeah.
Clap your hands, everybody, and everybody clap your hands. We Lambda, and Omega move. And we've come here on stage tonight to do a show for you. We got a rockin' rhythm and a high-tech sound that'll make you move your body down to the ground. We got Poindexter on the violin, and Lewis and Gilbert will be joining in. We got Booger Presley on the mean guitar, and a rap by little old me, Lamar. We got Takashi beating on his gong. The boys and the moves are clapping along, and just when you thought you seen it all, along comes a Lambda 4-foot tall. So won't you come on out here on the floor, so we can work our bodies like never before.
When was the last time you saw Revenge of the Nerds?
Who are you talking to?
Anyone? Anyone watch it recently?
I feel like last year. I haven't watched it this
Yeah.
year, but maybe it was this year. I know it wasn't too long ago.
Yeah, at some point I watched it last year.
I think Leanna's talking about Revenge of the Nerds. She said not that one because literal rape and assault and surveillance.
Oh, it's all kinds of sketchy.
Like as a girl, that movie is hard to watch.
What movie?
Revenge of the Nerds. Well, I forget. He tricks her into sleeping with him. That's essentially rape.
You don't know for sure.
And they break in and put up cameras.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all kinds of sketchy.
Yeah.
I literally haven't seen it in at least 10 years. I
It's
think.
a highly questionable film.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I watched it 20, 30 years ago. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is brilliant. And you watch it. I think it was probably 3 or 4 years ago. And I'm like, wow, like these people should be in jail.
You know what I saw recently that you can't make today is Weird Science.
I don't know about that.
Why?
What's wrong with it? What aside from what
they made
Revenge of
an
the Nerds did?
idealized woman.
Yeah.
With a fucking
Raven
Barbie
Shadow's like,
doll.
when do we start?
Yeah.
You got we have fucking 3 monitors. We can do all kinds of stuff.
Leanna says they make a sex doll slave dude.
She
Well,
had
if that-
magic powers,
well, wait.
and they never had sex with each other.
If that's the case, then Rocky Horror Picture Show should be looked at as being questionable then, too.
That's a bad guy that made it, you idiot.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, in defense of Weird Science, they made
Don't you know the
a
difference
sex
between-
doll slave, but they never actually slept with her.
Yeah, they never. No one had sex.
They
with
couldn't
her.
even take a shower with a beautiful woman without taking off your jeans.
And they found true love, and then she became a gym teacher, and made boys drop and give her 20.
Yeah. So if a bad guy
You don't have his license, Lisa.
makes, they're drinking.
She did what?
I think that movie said the F word and not the F-U-C-K one more times than any movie I've seen in a long fucking time.
Which movie?
Weird Science.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Like to me who's pretty unsensitive, gut sensitive amount of times. So if a bad guy makes a construct, he's fucking evil doing evil shit. When a good guy makes a construct, and we're watching this movie about the adventures of these fucking two teenagers and their sex doll, that's fucking different, you weirdo.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No,
Because
it's
he's
not.
a bad guy. Evil is
What
bad.
what does
the evil?
the ambition of the person who's creating the sex toy, let's call it, is irrelevant. It's what they plan to do with that sex toy that
Crochet.
is.
They both plan to do the same thing.
Yeah, but there's only one difference. One succeeded, one didn't.
Yeah, the bad guy succeeded.
Exactly.
Because he's a bad guy.
No, because he's fucking horny.
Yeah, horny knows no boundaries.
MZ would know. Dude hasn't been touched by a woman in about 10 years. Leanna says it's seen as transphobic. MZ.
What is?
Rocky Horror.
I love Rocky Horror.
I know, but she's saying it's seen as transphobic because a lot of people are afraid of Frankenfurter, right? It's weird, right? When you watch it, people are like, "Oh, a trans person is weird," right?
In today's world?
No.
Well,
In the movie.
The whole
In the
fucking
movie.
house was weird. I'm just be honest. I mean, it's like a weird fucking house. I mean, Riff Raff, who I love, but not for nothing, he made me want to come in and have a sandwich. You know, he's my dude.
I'm not talking from.
Leanna says, "MZ, for the love of God, look up queer coding and villains. Do it."
What's that mean?
Queer coding and villains?
Yes.
Go ahead. We'll wait.
Let's see.
Coding,
Yeah.
not coating.
Coding, as in like
Coding. C-O-D-I-N-G.
C-O-D-I-N-G.
Yeah, not courting.
Queer coding and villains.
Not like the bottom of your shirt in the morning.
I'm assuming that means like making to another reason.
Queer
to
coding villains.
Fear the
Okay.
villains.
Should we have Raven Shadow read it?
Let's see this. Fabulously fiendish Disney villains and queer coding. 10 queer-coded gay villains from our childhood. This woman matched gay stereotypes to Disney villains, and it's brilliant. I don't know what I'm looking for here. 21 the best and the worst queer movie villains from The Advocate.
I don't think
Maybe
that they
that's-
necessarily made Frankenfurter. I know that that's like the super liberal take on it now, but like everyone fucked him. Every single person in the
Yeah.
movie fucked Frankenfurter. It wasn't like
Yeah,
they
it's
were
true,
repulsed
yeah.
by him. Like
Right.
that's just very like I feel like like I understand why it happened. Like the fucking wall got busted open by evil, and now we're scrambling. But
Well, in the movie, he tricked them into having sex with him.
he's a bad guy. He's Loki, but but none of them were fucking upset about it. There wasn't a single person in that movie that was like, "I fucked Frankenfurter. It's a really bad time."
Yeah, it was good. Seems pretty fun.
Except for maybe Rocky.
All right, so let me read. Queer coding occurs when characters or relationships are given
Oh, you're
traits.
talking about Wikipedia. Okay.
Oh, a definition, just essentially.
Okay.
Queer coding occurs when characters or relationships are given traits associated with LGBT people without explicitly stating that they are queer. It does not necessarily imply that the character actually is queer. Queer coding can be either positive or negative, although it is more commonly negative. For example, the repressive Hays Code forbade depiction or discussion of homosexuality in Hollywood films from 1930 to 1968. During this period, the only type of LGBT representation allowed was via queer coding, subtle signals that would be recognizable to queer audiences but would fly over the heads of general audiences, and more importantly, the censors. Examples of code-era classic films often considered to contain queer coding include Tea and Sympathy, Rebel Without a Cause, and Some Like It Hot. More commonly, however, queer coding is used to reinforce negative and harmful stereotypes. For example, male villains are often depicted as effeminate and flamboyant, in contrast to the manly hero, reinforcing both damaging stereotypes about masculinity and tropes such as the depraved homosexual.
Like Cobra Commander.
What?
Yeah. Surprisingly, Disney films provide some of the most blatant examples of queer-coded villains, including Jafar in Aladdin, Prince John in Robin Hood, Governor Ratcliffe in Pocahontas, Ursula in The Little Mermaid, whose design was actually based on the famous drag queen Divine, and even The Lion King's Scar.
Michael Ravenshadow.
There you go.
He had a lisp.
He did.
Like it wasn't even thinly veiled. Like,
Yeah, it wasn't subtle.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Are you arguing he didn't have a lisp?
Oh yeah, he did. But yeah, all right. But that was like on purpose though, because that was so gimmick. He likes snakes.
Right, but he wasn't like he was like the wimpy temper tantrum having like effeminate. Like he wasn't like a strong, assertive.
Skeletor kind of was too, right?
You know what? You want to play a little game? I want you to say any line you want, but say it as Cobra Commander, and then say the exact same line as the stereotypical gay character.
Wait, what?
Say anything you want, but say it like Cobra Commander, and then say the same exact thing as the stereotypical gay character.
Say, I'll be back.
Say, I'll be back as Cobra Commander.
I don't really do a lot of Cobra Commander impressions.
Oh, God.
I'll be back!
Say, I'll get you, Joe.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah, I'm trying to like
I'll get you, Jones!
I mean, I don't do Commander.
You just did, like... Oh, never mind. It would be the same...
Poppycock!
As far as Frankenfurter goes, like
Now
his
stop sputtering like a wet toaster and get busy! When the Dominator is operational again, we shall seize control of the world! Stop surrendering and listen to me!
See, I didn't realize it was that bad. That's pretty bad.
Come on, no, he's just.
So you just sound like him.
Come on!
you can't fight this one.
Yeah, you know.
Well, no,
There's
he's
been a
not-
lot of silly things of our youth that you've tried to go to the mat for, but this is one where you just
He's
lose.
batshit crazy. And he
He's-
had a family, and he was killed. They were killed in the same crash that Snake Eyes' sister died.
Yeah, he had a family in Canada.
Yeah, well.
He had a wife.
I don't think so. I mean, Skeletor maybe. Him and Beastman were kind of weird. And what the fuck was what was up with Snagglepuss?
As far as Frankenfurter goes, again, I think that his sexuality was like, I think his bisexuality was like
his power
was very well on display.
But
I don't
he
think
was-
that there was any.
Oops.
But he was like Prince, though. You put somehow Prince in high heels in a purple outfit. He was fucking masculine as a motherfucker.
Cause you were a whip scientist and you could be a whip villain. It's the sorceress, you boob. They should call you Wimplash. Quiet, or I'll turn you into a suitcase. Just as I suspected. Hollow, you metal-munching moron. Why do I surround myself with fools? Even the...
Oh, that's what I say every Wednesday.
I know I'm defending this a lot, but am I the only one that feels like Tim Curry was actually pretty masculine in that movie?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When he comes down fucking somehow in those high heels and the fucking corset, dude's fucking tough. I don't know.
When he kills Eddie, like...
Yeah, he was scary.
Yeah. Like,
The
I
first
would play
opening
him...
song.
Like, just on paper, I would have played him more flamboyant. I would have played him more Cesar Romero Joker and less...
Well, see,
I would do...
I don't
the-
think
the-
you can
the
wring
whole-
another drop out of black humor out of that.
No.
Well, the whole killing of Meatloaf, I found that very to be the jealous woman taking revenge.
How about Jealous Lover?
Or Jealous Lover. That's how I
Yeah.
took it.
Jealous lover.
Well, obviously that's how it's supposed to come across, but I took it as the jealous female. I don't know. That's just how I interpreted it.
I don't know who I like better, Cobra Commander or Skeletor.
I
can't believe that.
I am MZ response shocked that Michael Raven Shadow is shot.
You know, it's been a while. Is that the same voice actor?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Chris
so.
Latta.
Yeah.
He's also Starscream too, right, MZ?
Yeah, he's also Starscream.
Do you have any best of Commander?
God, do it on your own time.
It is too dangerous, Commander. There could be dire consequences.
There will be dire consequences for you if you do not obey my orders. You twin twats. They're escaping.
Come twats.
He kicks someone in the shins.
Yeah. That's not. I don't think that's orientation specific. I think he's just batshit fucking crazy.
Robots are smarter than you. You overgrown alley cat. You pathetic pair of pitiful pinheads. You tin-tongued dolt. I'm talking about my patience, not my body.
Skeletor is awesome.
Well, the point, and we were too young to. I mean, obviously, like we had no fucking clue. It was just kind of funny to us. But now, in hindsight, looking back at this, absolutely, like it's trying to like. You had G.I. Joe or He-Man. Like, He-Man or G.I. Joe are, like, masculine, you know? And like, this is the kind of the antithesis of that in a way, where he's emasculated and you know, it's just kind of counterpoint, you know?
I mean, it's more so with Cobra Commander just because he doesn't do any of his own, like, heavy lifting. Like, they're driving that sort of, like...
Yeah.
That sort of bossy homosexual stereotype around, you know.
I just said the nay-no on that. And as far as He-Man goes...
You're definitely in the minority, like you versus fucking everyone in the world.
Well, fine. Cobra Commander is a fucking megalomaniac trying to rule the world.
Yeah, it says that in the intro song, but that doesn't make him
Why
any
doesn't
less
he?
gay.
Why doesn't he sound like Barry White?
Or Destro, even.
Yeah, or Destro.
Well, because that Destro would have to have a different voice. I mean, what would Destro sound like?
This is amazing.
Are we actually up at this hour talking about
no,
this?
we have to go.
And I mean, let's break down He-Man and Prince Adam with his little haircut. I mean,
No one is denying that, but like,
well, I mean, you take that. Like, Prince Adam is very feminine until he becomes He-Man, and then all of a sudden he's the man.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
no one loves G.I. Joe more than I do, but
you sure?
Snake Eyes, Cobra Commander is like,
Kick your legs like a scissor.
Yeah. Cobra Commander doesn't like girl snakes.
There's anything wrong with that, but I
No.
just don't get that. He's too angry. He's got medical problems.
So Leanna says, I brought up this conversation and a few guys learned things about coding and villains. My job is done. It was educational.
I'm gonna have to read up on that some more. No. I just want to read up on it. I'm not
And to be
saying
fair,
I didn't get it. I'm not saying I didn't get anything out of it. I'm just saying I want to read
I
up
feel
on
like
it
me
some
and Johnny knew what she was talking about. We just didn't necessarily agree on Dr. Frankenfurter.
No, I understand what it means. It's
But you don't agree with the Cobra Commander and Skeletor.
I've never shipped them together, but
Can we please
You've
call
never
this a night?
Ship them together?
Yeah, shipping's a term when you write your own. You have characters fall in love with each other. Shipping.
We're not talking about that. Just in general, that they're feminine characters.
I never thought
They're
Cobra Commander-
effeminate. Yeah.
Effeminate. Yeah, sorry.
Nah, I think no.
No. Okay.
Oh, come on, Skeletor. Yeah, there's something weird's going on with him and Beastman in that castle. Beastman's definitely a bear. Let's just fucking put it on the table.
Have any of you guys...
You don't think, like, even the, like, typical, like, you don't think they leaned into the fact that him in his, like he always has, like a hood on? Like, that was kind of, in retrospect, like, lost on you? Like, he has two different... He has two different, like...
play this.
Have you guys ever seen this?
This is brilliant. Gumbo used to play this all the time.
You're a knight.
It's CKY doing Skeletor and Beastman.
Goddamn better believe it. Then take your drawers off and
and work your legs. Open your ass up like a keg. Let me tap it.
I must have it.
Very fool, you are mine. I'll drink your ass like wine, and when semen pours all over your head, you know you must be dead. Scartor, I know you groove and shake it so damn good. And when you come on through my hood, I'll give you a piece of one. You're very fool, I know, and I will not disagree.
I'll tell you why I hate this and everything that's like it.
Yeah.
Talk about stereotypes. This is totally leaning into the electronic music equals like homosexuality, like stereotype.
I don't see it that way.
Who did this?
CKY.
It's Bam Margera.
Okay, I thought that was him.
Yeah.
Then why isn't it?
Chocolate
Because they used to do music like this. It's not specific to this.
Now, who are you? I don't know. Let's break it too. Now, shake your ass. Come on, Beastman. Take your fur off.
Take your furry fur off.
Well then, whack me off.
Oh, this is so fucking weird.
God.
All right, so.
Yeah, think about this, Raven Shadow. He was always hiding his face.
So does Snake Eyes.
Well, Snake Eyes was supposedly all burnt up.
So does Batman.
Batman, pretty gay. Batman lives with. Oh man, this is like. Batman lives with a young boy.
Are we really going to go down this rabbit hole
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah, it is.
Don't be outrageous because you know how. You're trying to impress Leanna.
No, I'm not trying to impress anybody. No, I think that
I want you to have soda. I wouldn't take that away from you.
I think Cobra Commando is like.
And someone's pretty fine.
Beastman's pretty thin.
And I'll spread it into every good boy and girl.
Oh boy! All right.
Cobra Commando is the most closeted character of all time.
Watch your mouth. We don't need that language anymore.
Leanna says gayness is seen as feminine, and feminine qualities are seen as bad.
Bad,
Yeah.
right? And you get programmed too because it's funny, like. Because it wasn't until I was an adult that I met anybody that was like a cleat. I ended up knowing a lot of homosexual people, but I didn't know any like. I don't know. I didn't know any Cobra Commandos until I got older.
You didn't know any Cobra Commandos.
Because one of my best friends in school was homosexual, and my neighbors had 2 moms, and like they, but they were just normal people, like homosexual people are. But I did meet some Cobra Commandos in my travels. But at the end of the day, I think like Cobra Commando, in the cartoon anyway, like the comic, I feel like he came off a little different. But in that cartoon, holy shit on a stick.
Wow, this this episode's been kind of run the gamut here on some social issues.
I think that the Tomax and Zaymot much more effeminate and fits that profile. They're well dressed.
Don't defend Cobra Commando.
But they're acrobats. They came up in the circuits,
And they're villains.
Yeah, they're awesome though. I love to put them in a fucking next movie. Extensive Enterprises. It's my jam. Don't you think that would be helpful? That's how they talk.
All right, let's just
Please kill me.
kill this show now.
It's funny. Leanna says, "Listen, superheroes are gay. Batman wants to fuck Superman. They fucked. We have to accept it."
They're very good friends who respect each other.
And she says, "No, I'm sure of it. Do you know how many times they act like a couple? Superman and Batman are gay for each other."
Well, that was the whole point of the greatest parody of them of all time, Apollo
That's what I
and
was just about to
Midnighter.
say. Yeah. It originally was Stormwatch, right?
Yeah.
So started there, went to the Authority, but yeah, definitely if you guys haven't, check out Midnighter and Apollo from. I mean, I guess they have their own books now on DC proper.
Yeah, well, they keep having this like burst of miniseries, but I have a feeling like the honeymoon's over.
But yeah,
with that,
they're a couple, and it's essentially Superman and Batman.
Yeah, they had an awesome poster in one of their books that I'd love to get of them. It says, they're on the cover of Pride magazine, and it's the famous Batman and Superman like back-to-back pose, and it says "World's Finest Couple."
Yep.
Yeah,
That's fun.
I'd like to get. Why does that bother you so much?
No, I like Apollo and Midnighter a lot.
Yeah, they're the best.
It's fun. They
I,
should be.
I actually don't love Apollo like as far as the writing goes, but Midnighter is like a much more rounded out character.
All right. Well, woo. We covered a lot of ground there.
This has been a heavy episode. Man.
There is. I did want to mention a few other revenge movies. Some sort of. I started to. That's what it was. I said I saw The Devil. Inglourious Bastards.
Well, yeah, no, because
Yeah,
I guess so. Yeah.
yeah, because the main heroine who runs the cinema, her family was killed by the Nazi
absolutely.
hunts.
Yeah, Django Unchained.
That movie's fucking perfect.
Naked Gun.
What?
Um,
Jaws 4: The Revenge.
Yep.
Carrie.
Keep
Yeah.
it down now.
Braveheart.
I was gonna say Braveheart too.
I've never seen Braveheart.
Really?
Yeah.
Pretty
That's
good.
surprising.
I did used to love Mel Gibson too.
Thriller or Cruel Picture.
Yeah.
That movie.
That's they call her One Eye.
Yep.
Garbage.
Death Proof. That's a good one.
I don't know if that's revenge.
Who's getting
I
revenge?
guess it is, but
Well, they get revenge on.
They're defending
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, I guess. I guess it's more of a.
Unless they're going with the metaphor that those two groups of girls were interchangeable, but I don't. I've heard people
don't
say
know.
that before, but I don't think so.
Yeah, Dakota says Shoshana has a hell of a revenge tale in Inglourious Bastards.
It's
yeah,
incredible.
Absolutely.
That movie, like I've said it before, the scene with the theater's on fire, I bawled my eyes out.
David Guido says just picked up all 3 book recommendations. Thanks, guys. There you go, Mars. Nice job.
I'm gonna start getting those because I don't want to touch any of my physical media because I want you guys to be able to sell it and make money when I'm dead soon.
All right, so I think that's going to wind things down here. If you guys have any last thoughts about honorable mentions, you could say them in your goodbyes. But MZ.
no honorable mentions I can think of.
I think we
Arrivederci,
named-
you douchebags.
We name most of them. Aries.
Yeah, I'm not going to start any other tangents, so goodbye.
All right, Raven Shadow.
Live fast, love hard, die with your mask on.
Mars Man.
Watch 2 incredible documentaries I wanted to mention at the beginning of the show. Highly recommend. The Search for Wang Wang. It'll fucking ruin your day.
Sold.
But it's a really
Raven Shadow, you should watch Requiem for a Dream tonight.
Yeah, what's that?
It's a really great story,
back
but
to leaving
also
Las
on
Vegas.
Netflix there's an incredible documentary called She Makes Comics, I believe was the name, or She Writes
Oh, yeah,
Comics.
yeah.
It's on my queue.
So fucking good. Considering comics is such a sausage factory, it's amazing how people forget Jeanette Kahn and all these other important female elements that really are kind of why comics are they are today.
Karen Barger.
Yep.
I think it's Berger.
Yeah. Yep. Just Vertigo alone. So it's just amazing that, we're always waving our dicks at women in comics and we don't realize that everything from Crisis to Vertigo a woman is responsible for.
Louise Simonson.
Oh, yeah, Wheezy. Gail Simone, who's probably in my top 2 or 3 favorite comic writers ever. So, it's a great documentary. They talk a little too much about cosplay, and I don't get it till they tie it together. So that might be a bit of a spoiler, but it also, I don't want anybody to get turned off because I almost turned it off. Not that I love cosplay, but I didn't understand how the two met. Remember, children, wherever you go, there you are.
All right. That's going to do it for episode 303. Thank you to everyone in the chat room. We had some good conversation going on. We learned a few things, and we had some great voicemails, so thank you guys. We always love having you tune in for the live show. And if any of you guys out there listening to the podcast have never tuned in to a live show, I would recommend it. You're missing out if you're not. Come check us out on Wednesday nights from 9 p.m. to midnight Eastern Standard Time. And also remember, we will be doing a live solo Star Wars story special on Saturday, May 26th. Probably going to be, we'll firm up the time by next week, but it'll be either 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll have some members of Trick or Treat Radio. We'll have some of our guests we've had on in the past, and maybe some new ones. We'll see. So it should be a blast. We usually cover pretty deep. We get into spoiler territory. And we'd love to hear from you guys. So if you do get a chance to see Solo before we talk about it, make sure you send us a voice message or an email, podcast@trickortreatradio.com. We'd love to hear from you guys. And next week, we're going to check out Feral. And Cobra Commander has something to say before we go.
Joe, you fools! Hurry, you fools! Get me out of here, you fools!
Yeah, get me out of here, you fools. I think that's a good way to end it. So, everyone who listens to the podcast, thank you guys. And we look forward to checking you guys out next week on 304. I'm going to be checking out Feral and, I don't know, we'll have some other stuff. If we think of a question, we'll let you guys know. See you then.